Ever. Never forget the secret. That deodorant is what I mean. All right, here we go. It is a show. It is going to start shortly, and I'm going to push all the right buttons in 3, 2, 1.
Core.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to Core. This is Core, the only gaming podcast rated adequate by Motor Trend Magazine 4 years running. It's pretty good.
Respectable.
Yeah, I think so.
You made it move with that potion sound.
I know.
Like, that's,
yeah.
man.
Does that bring you back?
God, how much I like that sound.
Yeah.
Oh, so good.
Oh, you know what's even better is the money, the gold sound in Diablo. I don't know where I put that, though. I have it somewhere.
That one's also very good.
Jesus.
That's not it at all.
Yeah, that's what I say when I hear it.
Yeah. You know what? Jesus. These two should get together.
Oh, Jesus.
Those two should get together. Anyway, hey, everybody. We're here. We're going to do a show. Sorry about the day late business. It's my internet's fault. Comcast decided to take a big old dump, and it happened right before the show, and it was stupid. It took about 2 hours to clear, and then finally came back up, which meant I could play a little bit of Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, which turned out okay. So we're here now to do it. We're a little early today. We're going to pound one out for you. All right? Is that okay to say, or is that weird? Shouldn't say that, maybe?
I mean, it
No, we're
depends.
pounding one out. That's how it works.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I never know what the kids are into.
It doesn't just mean, it doesn't refer to one specific type of pounding out. You can pound out a novel.
Sure.
You can pound out a show like we're doing.
Yeah.
A
could,
divot. There's a divot in something. You can pound it out.
Like pound out a divot?
Smooth it over.
Oh, I see. Like like you got a little dent in your car. You can
Or a nail.
Yeah, pound it out.
Mhm.
Yeah.
A what? A nail?
You can pound out a nail that needs to be pounded into
I thought you said a male.
a piece of... Well, I think you can pound one of those too.
You probably can. I don't recommend.
Oh,
it,
you
but-
meant like post office mail. I don't think you pound the mail.
No, I meant a dude.
Okay,
I'll admit it.
Yeah, you can give him a pound. Like, you know, you
Yeah.
Give me your lunch
Hey, where's
money,
your
or I'm gonna
camera? Like,
pound you out.
Yeah, or
Hey, give me a pound.
you're in the
Everyone-
UK and you're like, here's a pound. Go do a job for me for this pound I'm giving you.
Yeah, yeah. You could. I wonder if they say pound it out. It's like, you want to split this dinner bill? It's like, oh no, just let me pound it out.
Oh, which sounds like, yeah, that sounds like let me
That'd
pay
be a
for
great
it.
way to do it.
Yeah. Why not? Hold on. What if you said in for a pound, out for, no, what's the phrase? In for a pound, out for a dollar? What is it?
In
No,
for a penny.
in for a penny.
Oh,
Out for
for a
a dollar, or in
pound.
for a dollar. What?
wait, no, the
In
pound.
for a penny, out for a pound? That's
Yeah,
how...
in for a penny. That's what they would say.
Okay.
Except they don't have pennies over there.
You
I
have,
thought it was in for a penny, in for a dollar. Isn't it something like that?
well, that's what I thought. But John has British upbringing, right? Some
no,
direct.
they're saying in for a penny, in for a pound.
Okay,
Yeah.
But it is a
They have
reference.
pennies?
Oh, they have pennies.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it.
Oh, they have pennies and pounds?
I knew it had to make sense somehow.
They have hay
Yeah.
pennies, which is a half penny, right?
In for a penny, in for a pound. That's what you got. That's
Yeah,
what
we
it
have
is.
we got hay nickels here. Nickel, 2.5 cents.
You got hay hooties, or what are they called up there? Duties,
Hey,
hooties.
hooties.
What are they called?
We got
That's what I say
loonies
when I
and
see a
toonies.
collection.
Oh,
of
loonies and
owls.
toonies. So you got
Loonies
hay.
and toonies. Although, I mean, I haven't seen money in like a half a decade at this point. But
Yeah.
Wow,
It's all digital.
money.
Yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah,
yeah, I guess a loony would be a hay toonie.
hay toonie. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
because it's half of a. Oh, is that true? It's half a toonie.
Well,
Right?
we don't call it that, but we might have just. If you start seeing it used, it was invented here.
All right.
I want my credit for inventing things.
Yeah. All 10 toonies of it. Whatever that equals
But,
to.
yeah,
But
hey,
that-
toonie, hey,
that-
toonie.
That's great. We've learned something about international currency conversion and also our big topic of the day. You guys, the world's worst video game launch happened right under our noses during the week. And you think I'm kidding.
Wait, what?
Those at home, you're thinking, what? The worst video game launch of all time?
I'm thinking that. What are we
Well, right here is our main topic, Beau. You may have noticed that Concord came out and 11 days later got pulled and issued a bunch of refunds.
Okay, you just said this week because I think it was last week, but I'm just being.
Was it last week? I thought it was this week. No? Early.
I think it's ongoing. I think it's in the realm of shutting down.
Yeah, my brain is just being.
It's going offline today. Today is the day.
Today's the day.
It's going offline.
Did you hear about those? There were some players that were repeatedly jumping off some cliff to get a certain hard to get trophy or achievement. I assume on PC, but it was like some kind of thing where they were all just like, "Hurry up, before the server shut down," and people are just launching themselves off some cliff or something.
I mean, it's now or never.
I know.
I hate achievements so much. They could have been doing anything else with their lives, but trying to just get a little toast on their. Like,
this is something fitting. I feel like about the last remaining Concord players and the last remaining days of Concord just throwing themselves off a bridge.
Okay,
over
maybe
and over
it's
again.
a community thing. It personifies everything I hate about achievements right there.
The only achievements I like are the ones where you can earn something by achieving them. If I can have, and I don't just mean EPing, I mean like, you know,
you get mouse and stuff. I know they lock a lot of content behind just getting things, and that can be its own little like, oh, I got a task.
Mm-hmm.
Like the line between an achievement being a reasonable task, because we do lots of task completion in games, is one thing.
Mm-hmm.
But just yeah. It's mainly in the WoW space that it aggravates because it just looks like such an unfinished list. Like I start thinking I'll go get one or two, and then it's like, well, when does it stop? And
it's a beast. It's so big. You got to stay. You know what you do there just to not go crazy. You stay in the current expansion list, which you can do, and just stay in there. If you start to go out of there, you'll go, oh, I never got Lore Keeper or whatever the hell it was in vanilla. I could probably do that, and then you're going down a road you don't want to go. You don't want to.
Yeah, then you spend 8 hours in some zone farming something. You're going like, I could just be doing anything else.
Just don't look at it. If you get a reward from it, you'll get it. It's actually one of the things that bums me out about Final Fantasy is they also have like, oh, you got so many like commendations, so you've unlocked a crown or something like that, right?
Right.
And it's tied to an achievement, but they don't automatically give it to you. You have to open the achievement book and go, yes, I would like to redeem my crown. So you have to look at it and acknowledge that achievements exist. With WoW, at least they send it to you.
Wait,
it's like, you got something and now it's in the mail and now you get it.
Do you ever go in there, John, and realize you got like 5 all queued up that you didn't open? Or
I did originally because I didn't know you had to do that at first.
That's
the first time I went in there, I was like, I've got cards, I've got a mount, I've got a pet, I've got a hat, I've got a little suit.
I was like,
that is actually more common than the WoW thing. WoW being like a very high quality piece, they do that for you. But like Darktide, I was in there this week, and you have to click to get things now. They added that. I was like, you used to just deliver it. Now I got to go to a vendor and click things. Black Desert was like that. Pretty sure Lost Ark was like that. Like I think they sit in the boardroom and they go like, humans like it when they click things and then it makes a sprinkly sound.
Yeah, they do.
And it's like, please stop.
We're all, we've been playing games long enough where we don't really need that anymore. But I will say this: when I get, I finish a quest or whatever, and they give me just some experience, and let's say it's a world quest, and they give me a box of something, I do like opening those in my bag.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not everything.
I think I've been enjoying doing the world quest right now and saving up like 20 of them and just going click, 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 click. It's all Valor Stones.
Yeah.
Well, it's also annoying when you
expecting something else, but it's all Valor Stones. But still,
like when you loot a body of something, and I have auto loot on, and so you see the window very quickly, and it's just like chink, and it just like disappears really quick, and you're like, wow, that had like 8 things on it, and you open your inventory, and there's one like gray item in there, and you're like, what the hell were all those other things? Like what? Why is there only one new thing in my inventory?
It's all smoke and mirrors. They tried to augment that by having the pop-up happen where the one item that's something maybe worth it will pop up and be there kind of with a nice little filigree flourish around the edges, and maybe it even upgraded, and so you get the little animation of the arrows going up or whatever. So they've tried to do that a little bit, but I think I'm okay with the way they do it now, where a lot of that stuff just goes straight into your currency / XP piles, rep, whatever. But then every once in a while you're like, whoa, I got the mount that supposedly only drops 1 out of every 300 out here. Awesome. I like having a thing in there that I got to go see that I got it, click it, and make it seem a little more physical, like a little more real. Because if it was all just poof and suddenly you just own things, I don't know. That wouldn't be enough. I need.
They applied that philosophy to collecting earwax.
Oh gosh, dude, those freaking kobolds and their wax needs.
Not all the currency goes into a currency page. Earwax, little glowy shards, and glow shards, and
glow shards.
There's another one.
I see what you did there with the shards. I like that.
Yeah, the radiant shards.
Yeah, radiant shards. Well, anyway, we're not talking about that. We're talking about Concord. You may remember Sony back mid last year did this official announcement. I remember at the time being kind of just interested in seeing what they did with it. But we also knew this was a 7-8 year in development answer to Overwatch. And they were going to try to capture some of that. And I think maybe that took too long. I'm not saying they could have done it quicker. I'm saying, actually, this will all come back around to John's theory about AAA, which I do want to get to here in a minute. But Concord was announced. Looked like Guardians of the Galaxy, sort of, but in hero shooter form. And it finally launched. Its pre-orders are apparently in the toilet. Its concurrency on Steam, anyway, were, what was it, 600 max or something like that?
All-time user peak of 660 people.
Yeah, that's not enough for, in this day and age, that is not enough for anything.
That's not great numbers for a single-player game that came out a year ago.
Yeah, especially when you're, you got competition on there like, I don't know, Stardew Valley with 1 million people at a time playing that game at any given time, and here's this brand new AAA title, multiplayer shooter that can barely produce 600 people. It's pretty bad. We don't really know what the PlayStation 5 numbers were.
Well, the estimate is that they have sold 25,000 units
total, right?
Period.
Okay.
Across PC and PlayStation. That is incredibly bad.
Yeah, and that if you were some small indie, you'd be thrilled. Okay? Because your little tiny game no one knew about, where you go and chop trees down, just sold 25,000 units at $10 a piece. You'd be so happy if you were an indie right now.
Oh, yeah.
This is not where Sony is, and this is not where anybody in that market is, which again goes back to the AAA conversation we'll have in a second. But I wanted to say this. I don't know quite where to put the button on this. So let me lay out the possibilities and let's throw it around.
I know exactly where to put the button on this, so let's hear it.
All right. Is it poor marketing and not throwing any dollars at marketing this game? Because they really did nothing. Hardly
That's not
anything.
True.
What? Well, name something.
It was the final big button trailer at the flipping Keeleys or whatever. Yeah.
At the Keeleys.
Okay. So they had a trailer at the thing, but I'm saying outside of all the nerds that watch
it's going to be one of the specials in the secret level.
Yeah, but nobody knows.
Show.
Regular people don't know this shit. Either of those two examples, they don't know. Is what I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, I would say
you can't claim that there's no marketing behind it. No. I just named two good marketing.
Not enough.
My claim isn't that there isn't any. My claim is that there is not nearly enough. And I don't even know, like the one at Keeley's thing, did people pay to get their trailers on there? I don't even know. I don't know how that works. But Sony did about as much as they did with Helldivers 2. The difference is Helldivers 2 caught fire and got viral attention and blew people's minds, and word of mouth was strong. That can happen, and that worked real well in their favor. This game,
to me, that exactly immediately says it's not a marketing issue.
Well,
if you have two things that had the same thing and one did well and one didn't, then you haven't identified the problem.
Well, okay, but I guess what I'm saying is the problem is Sony assuming that they'll just have the same smooth deal they had with the last game that did really well in this way without much of a marketing push. And that's bad planning on their part, because they're making a hero shooter a very saturated genre in gaming, way oversaturated. And you're also using an IP that doesn't exist. It's brand new, even though we're always begging for new IPs. They're harder to sell because they're new and nobody knows what's going on. They don't feel any connection to this. They have to answer those weaknesses with more marketing muscle, or do what they did, which is just put it out, hope for the best. Wasn't good enough, cancel it, shut it down, we're done.
I mean, we're also concurrently, I'm playing the crap out of Deadlock, which has no marketing. It's all word of mouth. Yeah. And it has Valve, prestige developer behind it. Matters a lot, but really good word of mouth.
Yeah.
I
good
think
influencer thing. So I think like Deadlock, not spending enough money, like not Deadlock, Concord, like having opportunities to have done marketing better, I don't think changed it, because our reaction when we first saw it, I remember I called it Diet Overwatch. It was very rude. I thought what they actually showed was unhypey. Like, did not make me excited. I think a lot of people had worse takes, including it being a whipping boy for all the right-wing freaks that are into accusing it of being DEI pandering from a big corp. Even though a bunch of games like Overwatch, like they all have diverse cast of characters. That's not the reason the game didn't sell, but it became a bit of a lightning rod for dumb opinion. And that bad word of mouth carried around in a game where you're right that it's a saturated market. So if there's a game we can skip, then great, right? Like, cool. I'll save myself $60, and I have there's lots of other games to play to spend time on. So I think personally, I think reverse word of mouth happened on this. The trailer was not hot. Like, it didn't, I don't think it was very appealing. Even though the animation looks sick and like a lot of high production value went in there, it just didn't hit with people. And then the shittier people also ran with it. And those goblins do buy games. So, but it's not the reason it didn't sell. It was just bad word of mouth in a saturated market. Like, I think they probably, something they didn't do enough, and they were asking for $50 to check it out. I think if it was free to play, a lot of people might have been like, okay, this is bad word of mouth, but I'm going to try a free thing.
Yeah. And for those at home that are like quickly writing an email about it being 40, this Beau money is different. Canadian money is 50 for that game. It's about 40
sorry, 50 or 40, but like having to spend up front. See, Overwatch did it the first go around, but it's Blizzard making it. I mean, say what you want about it, has a it comes with an audience. Blizzard could release Pooh Masters, the Masters of Pooh, and everyone go, "Why are you making a game about Pooh?" And still 5 million people would buy it. Like,
Pooh Masters,
because that's when you earn like that level of like prestige. That's why Deadlock's successful. Like, Valve's making a shooter. We have to check it out. Nobody knows Firewalk Studios, so you can't. No one's gonna go, trust me, bro. It's Firewalk. Like, it might look weird, but like, it's gonna be fire. Like, that's not gonna happen.
Yeah.
So they have to prove to people why their game's worth playing to get them in the door. And I don't think the enticement was very good. And then the goblins latched onto it to make it their whipping boy over DEI, even though like Call of Duty has diverse cast of characters. Like, it's a ridiculous thing. But that, because personally, I started to feel bad about kind of being negative towards it, because everyone is just a whipping boy. Everyone's just shitting on it. And then when the player numbers were low, I don't know if you've ever been in a situation where you've seen like, this is kind of terrible, but people fighting, right? Like you're in like a party or something like that, and two people start going at it.
Like video at a waffle. It's like a Waffle House or something where people.
One party's not the favorite party, so other people start jumping in and swatting. Like, it's one thing if it's a 1v1, but other people just start kicking the person or whatever. Like, I've had the misfortune of seeing that in real life once.
Yeah.
And it's just a feeding frenzy at this point and it's like content creators who make money off this kind of stuff. It's like, that's free money. Like, they're going to farm it. Like, look at this comical thing. And it's just, they're just in a place where they just rolled a 1 on their launch, I think. And because I assume there's some developers there who love the game. Even if, it's just 5 to 7 years of their life. Like, imagine working something for 7 years and everyone's going like, the shittiest game ever made was just made. And it's like, it actually doesn't look that bad. And there are people who are enjoying it. It just became a whipping boy and a feeding frenzy for this stuff. And the mob got like, it's like getting hit with a tsunami or something. Like, it's just like a force of nature at this point.
Yeah.
That's how I see it.
Scott, you asked, where do you think it went wrong?
Yeah.
And then you started to say, you were talking about advertising, and you said, or is this Sony making a mistake? A misguided look. I think that's when you started honing in on this. Where did this go wrong? It went wrong with Sony, and whoever in the higher ups decided, hey, what if we made a hero shooter? That's where the problem went. And I think the problems that this game had, the reason this game is a failure today, started 8 years ago. I think that's when the problems started to happen. And this will maybe go into the next level of the discussion that you want to talk about. But AAA games are like, you know, those big ships. You can't turn them around easily once they start going. And I think, you know, we can talk about, oh, the landscape was very different, because I've seen this take, like, oh, the landscape was very different 8 years ago. Overwatch was getting Game of the Year. You know, like this was a hot genre. But if you're going to be a AAA developer and you're going to take 8 years to make a video game, you can't chase trends, because the trend is likely to be over by the time you get the game out. If you're a quick, nimble developer that's going to put something out in a year or 2 or 3, maybe you can chase a trend a little bit. Or if you're going to put the kind of money and power behind it to get something of a AAA quality out fast.
Fortnite did it.
Fortnite did it, yeah, and they went absolutely apeshit crazy to get Fortnite out fast and be on top of that trend. Like, and they took it over as a result. And
if you chased that trend now, it's another aspect of this, and it's this kind of the same problem. If you're like, well, we need to be the next Fortnite, even if that's long, even if Fortnite lasts 50 years instead of 8, doesn't matter. Now it's too big. Don't chase that trend either. Find a trend that distracts people from Fortnite instead.
I mean, and that's the thing, is like Fortnite already also had a game. Like, it is worth noting that Fortnite, it's not like all of a sudden they went, we will make something different. And they just started from the ground up.
They responded quickly, right? Like
they pivoted a game they were working on and said, like, let's do PUBG in this and see if we can make it work. And then they built and built and built on it at a level that even the people that were making PUBG couldn't keep up with. Like, they were churning out updates and changes and new stuff faster than PUBG was, and they were the ones that were doing the pivot.
Yeah.
So it is a bit of an exception with Fortnite, but in general, especially if you're going to do AAA, you can't turn. So it's a bit of a gamble to go, well, look, Overwatch is popular. Let's start a game in development, and in 8 years we can compete with it. Because the truth is, like, and this is going to sound harsh, this is just my feelings on it. If this game had come out 8 years ago, it would look like watered down Overwatch.
Yeah.
I don't think it ever looked good. I didn't see a single character in those videos that looked appealing. I didn't see a single joke that hit and made me laugh during that trailer. The big thing, and I said this after we saw it, because Beau went really hard on it that first day, and I went, uh-oh, I'm the one who's usually really critical of these types of games. I'll try and be nice for once. Let me try and walk it back a little bit. And the nicest thing I could say about it was, well, they're promising like monthly story updates. That's kind of cool. Mm-hmm. Well, they didn't even make it a month, so they don't have to follow through on that promise, but like, I don't care enough about the characters to want a monthly story update on them. There was nobody in that trailer that was like, man, I can't wait to find out what Hot Sauce McGee is going to be thinking about hot sauce next week. Like, they were the biggest bunch of uninteresting generic characters in a world that was pretty, but again, generic. It was like it's like somebody took all of the elements of Overwatch that I actually like. I say that as somebody that doesn't like a lot of Overwatch.
Yeah.
The stuff I do like, and went, okay, well, what if that was also bad?
Yeah. I mean,
I wonder who the writers are.
I mean, I don't know, but I think that there are a lot of people that worked on this, had a lot of passion for it, and I feel bad for them. I think that goes without saying.
Sure,
so we'll get that.
absolutely.
We'll get that out the door before we say anything else. We're not talking about them. I wish them nothing but the best, and I think it sucks to not donate. You had a job, but to spend that much time working on a thing that everybody has just flat out like not purchased, is just done nothing but rip on, and now is getting pulled down after 11 days. 8 years for 11 days. It's just sad. All of that being said, I think John's 100% correct about this. I think it's even deeper than that. It goes to your point that you've made a few times on the show about how AAA cannot afford to chase these trends for long periods of time. And we'll hear this story again and again, because when you do that, you always run risks that don't pay off. And I think this is a case of that. It just did not pay off. Those risks were not there unless you had something really special, and you would have known early if you did. That's how these things work. That's why a lot of companies cancel stuff before we even hear about it, because they can't find the fun, or they can't find the reason why it would be better, or whatever. This feels like something that maybe got mashed through the freaking Play-Doh machine. And what a bummer. Like, now you have one of the worst launching titles in the history of video games.
Yeah, this is insanely, like, this is incredibly spectacular how bad this is. Like, it's not a case of I mean, Beau is right when he says that, like, people are all, giving their hot takes, but that's what we're doing here too. Like, no matter how much more measured we're gonna be or not.
I think we're doing analysis.
But at the same time, like, it's hard to overstate how bad this game did. Like, it was rumored to have, I think it was something like 250 million generated, like one of the biggest, like, money generating pushes for a new studio that's ever happened. Mm-hmm. And then to come out to this. And I do want to say, because you mentioned it too, Scott, like, we talk a lot about layoffs in the industry, and we always talk about it as a bad thing. So I want to make it very clear. I think it sucks for the people who made the game. Like, obviously it does. I think that one of the biggest problems, while we're talking about problems with AAA and games like this, is that, again, I think the problems with this game started a long time ago from people choosing the direction and the path that this game was going to go. And I think those people are going to be sitting a lot prettier than the developers who worked hard to try to make it work.
Yeah.
And I think that that's also a broken system, because to me, this looks competently made. I don't look at this and go, well, I think the people who built this game are the problem. I think the people who said this is a game we need to fund and put 8 years of time into, those are the people.
Yeah, it's not that Gorilla game. Like, the Gorilla game is the real embarrassment. That one that was just terrible, like the King Kong
King
game.
Kong
Like,
one?
King Kong or Gollum.
Gollum,
I look at if you told me, like, Scott's showing gameplay footage now. If you told me, like, 100,000 people are playing this is the hottest thing, I'm like, looks like a shooter. Like, I see it.
Yeah,
you don't look at any footage and go, like, nobody's playing this. Like,
it doesn't look like shit. It looks
I wish I had given it a try. I didn't know it was going to go offline. I did want to, because we have a friend on the show that we know from our hero days, like Bethany, and she's been messaging me. She's like, you got to make sure to try it. And I'm like, I said I would, and I definitely intended to.
Well, waited all
but 11 days.
I was like, the situation was developing. First, it is, once you're aware that, like, not a lot of people are playing it, it is hard to put the $50 down. So I was like, I'll give it a bit of time. Maybe this thing just needs to be out in the open. Let the bad shit fly by. Because games like these do find their audiences. Like, everyone's like, it's like, a lot of people, like, dumpstered on Starfield, but Starfield has its fans that, will go to the mat, love the game.
Sold a lot of copies, did real well. Yeah.
You don't have to please everybody. Like, sometimes the rhetoric in the gaming space is like, if everybody doesn't like it, it's shit. And it's like, no, a game can, there's like, what were they saying? Like, they had some estimate, like 2 billion gamers worldwide or something, like one of the Xbox presentations. I'm like, well, if I can please 0.5% of that, that's huge.
Mm-hmm.
So who cares if a lot of people hate this game? So I was like, I'll give it some time, some updates, maybe the story, the secret level episode. I'm really confused as to why they pulled it. I'm assuming it's got to come back out, unless they're just like somebody over there is just going to curb stomp the whole studio.
Well, there was talk that they were going to retool it. I don't remember where the quote came from. Somebody involved in the dev.
It's in their actual letter. They don't say we're done. So the letter says, let me pull it up. The letter says that
I think they retool it.
At this time, we've decided to take the game offline beginning September 6, 2024, and explore options, including those that will better reach our players.
Yeah.
I would be incredibly surprised if they try again. Now, I see it already in chat. Like, is it coming back in a free-to-play state?
That's my bet.
If it comes back, I think that's what you're going to see, because I think what you will try and see the pivot be is lean into microtransactions.
Yeah.
Scrap all the plans for cinematics and narratives. I think that's gone, because I suspect, and again, unfortunately, I'm not saying this celebratory, it's just the reality. I think they're going to fire a bunch of people. I think they're going to get probably a skeleton crew to work on it, to sustain a store, to throw out some hats, turn guy with red face into guy with yellow face, and let that be $30 or whatever the fuck gaming is these days. And then just support it, keep the servers on, and hope that they get a little closer to even, which sucks. And I don't think it's going to work, because as much as I saw chat kind of debating this too, saying, well, I don't think it looks good. I'm not saying the game looks great. I'm saying that I don't look at this in the same way I look at Lord of the Rings Gollum or that King Kong game and go, the people who created this game should be ashamed of themselves.
Oh, yeah, no,
this looks like
worse.
a competently made video game, even if it's not an appealing video game.
Right.
Yeah,
part of it is
worse,
there are times in video game history where this would have been very appealing, but it was about 15 years ago. And you do it now, and you have to really set yourself apart, or else it's too crowded. There are too many games. And you're talking about the attention of multiplayer gamers who are all sitting around waiting for Black Ops 6, or are playing Fortnite constantly, or can't wait to get into whatever other services a shooter game they have right now. And you're saying to them, hey, stop what you're doing and do this. This doesn't give you anything above what you're already doing, and you've already got your community, your clan, your established whatever, the money you've spent in those free-to-play stores, the battle pass you're not done with yet. Like, why would you rush over to this thing that nobody really knows anything about? All you can do is say, well, Sony's behind it. That's all you have? Like, it's just not good enough anymore. You can't do that now.
No, and you've got, again, the hero, like, I don't think this failed because hero shooters have become like, I've been rolling my eyes every time we do, an overview of a show, because it's like, okay, how many hero shooters are we going to see this time? It is a saturated genre right now, but it doesn't mean it's not a dead genre. People are playing it, and people, including me, who I was like, I don't want to ever play a hero shooter ever again, are eyeballing Marvel Rivals and going like, well, maybe that's the game that gets me to play one of these again. And I still feel that way. I'm still like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, geez, I can't believe someone was gonna make another hero shooter in this environment. What are they doing? And that at the same time, I'm going, well, Marvel Rivals is coming out soon, and what if I played that?
Yeah.
But that has a license behind it, characters you care about and are excited to play, and I'm sure they're thrilled because skins that people probably actually want to buy, instead of like, well, now the lady with a parka is going to have a puffy coat. Like, and now it's like, no, I have strong opinions on Spider-Man costumes, and here's a new Spider-Man costume. Well, I got to buy that because got to have a cool Spider-Man costume. Like, it's just the way it works. And it's a lot of things. This game didn't fail because of one thing. It failed because of a lot of things. But to me, where this all began was a decision 8 years ago to go, hey, what if we made Overwatch?
Yeah. Well, I don't know what's going to happen with it. I wouldn't mind seeing how a retool or a pivot toward free-to-play would maybe work. Plenty of smaller games survive. I just don't know that Sony wants one that's not,
I think this is dead.
Probably
I
dead.
pitched my, this is what I think happens if it comes back. But if you said, John, put money on it, we don't hear from Concord again.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it's about 50-50 at this point, but I will be curious to see what happens. And I don't think we're going to hear very quickly.
It's crazy in light of the TV show. That's what I think.
Oh.
Just to have that reminder.
That is weird.
It's weird, but that work's done. right? Like,
No, I know, but if like they were firmly decided, no, we're killing this forever, I would probably want to pull the TV show too.
oh yeah. Well, they may not have the option. Like, I don't. Those deals work really weird, and also if all of the work was done, because all that stuff, it's all pre-rendered, it's all animators and stuff, it's all a very separate thing.
Yeah, I suppose so. You're right.
It starts soon too, so I feel like that TV show is
It's a one-off
in
anyway.
a couple months or something.
Yeah.
Like it's really quick, and I think they're releasing all the episodes or something.
Yeah.
So I don't think that there is enough time to pivot on that, even if they wanted to, short of just removing an episode altogether.
I don't know if they've said
Oh, you know,
otherwise.
they
but-
removed a Starbucks cup from Game of Thrones.
well, that's true.
They did do that. Yeah.
I don't know if they've said or not, but I think that's intended to be a one-off like miniseries. If they make more, it'll be based on the success of it. Like if it gets really good ratings and people tune into
I mean, that would be the best case scenario. Like that episode comes out and people are like, "Holy shit, Concord's amazing."
it. Yeah. That would be
You know,
funny.
like-
What if it's the best segment of the entire thing? What if
I
that
did
happens?
think about that. I did wonder, like, man, what's it like if that comes out and that is the short that everyone is like, yeah.
Mhm. That would be funny.
And maybe it is, but I got to tell you, if that first trailer is any indicator, we don't have to worry about.
I did
that.
hear a great troll. Here's a good trolling you can all do at home. You watch that on the couch with your friend or your loved one, doesn't matter. And when the Concord thing comes up, it'll be better if they're familiar with the situation. But when the Concord segment comes up, that episode or whatever, you go, man, this looks great. They should make a game out of this, and nudge them with your elbow.
It's dumb.
You should do that.
It's dumb, but it's really funny.
Yeah, I would. That would crack me up. I might try to do it. It depends on who's with me. But anyway, Concord, not looking great.
All right, guys.
Good news for Sony is their what's that something bot game? I forgot the name. The new one.
Oh, Astro Bot.
Astro Bot is doing very well in both sales and reviews. Seems like the usual Sony love is happening with that game, and everyone's really into it. So perhaps this is a temporary blip. I don't know what kind of cash this is going to lose for them, but you know,
How much?
I mean,
money have
I'm
you lost
happy to
Astro Bot?
hear Astro Bot is doing well. That game that came with the PlayStation is a real treasure and joy.
it's great. Yeah. It's
Oh,
really
it still
good.
might be my favorite thing I've played on the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
Like that sounds like shade, but it's not. Like I think that game's actually really good. I'm so excited that they got a full real game to make, and when reviewers are immediately comparing it to like Mario and stuff like that, you're in a good place.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. It
Astro Bot doing well.
looks like
So,
a good game. Yeah. So we'll come
If I
back
was
to
a
this.
kid, I'd be so stoked to
Oh,
play Astro Bot.
Dude,
Like, it
I'd be
looks amazing.
so into it. I
Yeah.
kind of want to play it now. I don't know if I want to pay $70 to play it, but or whatever it is. Astro.
No, but it's just like the production value on it just looks very colorful and whimsical. Like even Nintendo's not doing stuff like this. Like it's pretty cool looking.
pretty good. Current aggregate score is 94. You don't get higher than that.
Yeah, wow.
People really like it. So, man, I don't know why things go the way they go, but this is the way this one's going. So, Concord, sorry. Astro Bot,
mean,
good job.
Can I tell you the let's turn lemons into lemonade hope with this?
Do it.
I hope that this scares everybody away from the hero shooter.
Mm.
Now, I'm going to just be selfish here because I don't like it.
Right. You're not
I'm
a
not
fan.
speaking for the world at large. I'm not speaking for you at home that has a Tracer statue behind you or anything. I'm talking about me for a minute. Just saying,
Right,
I
you have
don't
a church,
like.
don't you?
I do. That's the irony of
That's
it.
the joke.
Which
gotcha.
is the joke. It's
That
right there.
Dark irony.
I don't like hero shooters,
Mm.
and I would be thrilled to see a return of a shooter mode that I like becoming popular again. It could be many different types. So selfishly, I'm like, maybe this will scare them away from hero shooters, and we can make good shooters again.
Maybe they will. Maybe someone in the chat mentioned it too, but maybe Epic will finally let an actual Unreal Tournament follow-up happen. Just a good old-fashioned arena shooter. I
That
would
would
play
be
the
nice.
shit out of that.
It'd be nice. Although Epic is one of the only people with a currently, constantly, consistently successful shooter still going at the moment.
That's true. They're doing fine. Everybody wants.
Yes, I do agree.
Yeah, can't they take some of their Fortnite money and just make an Unreal tournament for charity? Like,
I
screw
wish.
even making money on it. Like, when you get so big, you can just make games for fun.
They have a game that's like pert near done, or at least ready for beta. Like they were almost done with one before they all moved to Fortnite. Took that team off of that thing. So get it done, finish it up, put it in my hands. I'll play it all day.
If your devs are too busy making Darth Vader skins, they can't be making Unreal Tournament, I guess.
Sounds like Beau's getting electrocuted just now. Did you hear
that?
that?
That's Beau. That's not me. All right.
Oh, you're better now, Beau.
I was like,
you're better now. Or sort of came back and then left. Oh, it's gone.
My
now.
XLR's hello. I adjusted my XLR. Hi.
Oh, now it's buzzing again. Try it again.
You're
Move it
buzzy.
again. It was it was like a little temporary glitch, perhaps. I've had this happen. I know you're
It's
paying.
my XLR cable.
Oh, you're better now. It's gone now.
Yeah. Okay.
You're
I'm
all
better
good.
now. Hooray.
Yay. All right. Well, let's move on to our week in gaming, where much more exciting things happened in a more successful way that Sony would have preferred. Anyway, here it is. We're not anti-Sony, you guys. This just happened to be a story, about
What?
Sony.
Someone said we're anti-Sony?
No, but
I
we
don't
get it
think
sometimes.
anybody would have listened to what we just said about Concord and been like, "Oh, they're anti-Sony," until you said something.
I know.
Yeah,
Well,
it's a PC game too. So
You just planted the seed.
Yeah, but if it's not a real seed either way. I just always there's someone. It didn't matter, John. I would have gotten something. I'll bet I have an email now before we're even done talking about it. I already.
Yeah, we don't see Scott's inbox, but
That's
we've
true.
seen what he gets, and I'm like, why don't I ever get these things?
People
Like,
think
you and I
Sony-
don't get these things, but they send them to Scott.
They think that
Well, who
anti.
cares?
Yeah, it doesn't
You're not
matter.
going to be able to convince them otherwise.
No, you're right.
Anybody that's so worried about that, and anybody that looks at Concord's launch and people shitting on Concord and goes, "That's just anti-Sony propaganda." 25,000 units sold.
Yeah, you should hear John talk about successful Microsoft games that he hates. You should hear him talk about Spaceman game. What's it called?
All right.
What?
Starfield. You should hear John talk about Starfield, and that's a successful game. My point is, if we have something bad to
all
say,
games equally. That's the truth.
I'm saying if we have something to say about a game in the negative, or we think there's a problem, we don't care about the platform. We'll talk about it, whoever it is. We don't care.
They're computers too, and I like computers.
Yeah, computers are great.
I like computers.
Computers are great.
Some of my best friends are Sony Entertainment.
Yeah, they are indeed. I wish nothing but the best, though, for Lashes. I want her to do well, whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
she wins.
Sorry.
She deserves it.
All right, let's talk about some games. We all played Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2. Space Marine. Sadly, no orcs yet, at least not my playthrough. The game is a sequel from the long ago, 2008 now, or something like that. Original, which came out on
Space Marine 1, I think.
360,
10
PS3.
years, 2013 maybe.
Was it? Maybe it was toward the end. You may be right. Maybe it was toward the end of that gen, and then it was right before
It's
PS4.
the anniversary edition, but 6 September 2011. Wow.
Oh,
This came out 3 days before 9/11.
jeez. Wait, that puts it a few days before. Wait, no, that was November. This comes out a couple of months before Skyrim, just to give people perspective on when this happened. The year prior, you were playing Red Dead Redemption 1. That's the zone we're in, okay?
Well, 13 years. Man, it's been 13 years since the first one. Oh,
Yeah.
I'm getting old.
It's a
oh
lot.
my God.
It's a lot. Anyway,
13 years?
we were all looking forward to this one, I think, and so I'll talk about my experience so far. I just got to the mission, or past the mission, so I'm not super far, but past the mission where the bugs are trying to gum up your antennas. You guys know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Where there's like 4 antennas. They're like, the eastern antenna's got problems. Ezekiel, to me! And you go over there and blow them off the thing, and then they go to the other antenna and F that one up. That's the mission I just finished. I really love how this game looks. I want to get that out of the way early for me. I think this game is freaking gorgeous. This Unreal Engine 5 business is the real deal, man. I didn't tell you guys this, but I did a little trade. some work trade, and ended up with a 4080, excuse me.
What?
Yeah.
Oh,
And they know there are 3 hosts on the show, but this was like specifically
This
like
is definitely as somebody that is watching their computer every now and then go. This is definitely a do they know there's 3 people on the show?
It wasn't like that though. It was like I had to do a bunch of art.
It wasn't sponsored. You said you did some trade.
I need a new computer. Hold on.
It wasn't
on the line.
It wasn't show trade or like ad trade or anything. It was
okay.
It was like work I did for somebody. Anyway.
Yeah, that's I mean we can't like if he
that's true.
If Scott's like just conducting like trades or
but I'll draw somebody a picture if they
we gotta draw a line somewhere, John.
Yeah. I'm not even sure this person listens to Core, so that'll tell you.
Oh well.
So anyway, I did that, and I've got that new card in there, and yes, it's a very nice card. I don't know if that's why I'm having such a beautiful time, but man, this game is pretty. I have it on maximum everything possible, and at the highest frame rates that my monitor can take, and all that stuff. And it's really, really, really good looking in my opinion, and it captures that 40K vibe extremely well. I like the dudes in my squad so far. The story hasn't progressed too far, but they're already kind of annoyed with me because I got kind of promoted and brought in there. You guys know how this works, and I don't want to spoil it too much, but you basically get a promotion after all your hard work. And in 40K world, that means it's a very painful promotion, but it happens. And then they have to deal with me. And there's a guy in our group who felt like maybe he was in line to take charge of the squad. And he's
or whatever.
Yeah, and he's mad about it. And I really like the characterization, the way that that's all working so far in the cutscenes. I think that stuff looks and sounds and feels good. Those same teammates are terrible in the field. They're all derpy as hell. It reminds me of the first game. They're just kind of there. They soak up some damage. They kill some things, but they're really not that helpful, and they're not very strategic. You kind of are on your own when it comes to your AI helpers. We'll talk more about that, I think, when we get to some group discussion. But the other thing that I was worried about is happening, but not as bad as I thought, but it is happening, and that was that now we're on to Tyranids. The first game was all about the orcs with a K, space orcs, oi, those guys, right? Space Marine, as John is always saying.
Space Marine.
And I loved the orcs. I absolutely loved them. In that whole world, everything about the orcs in 40K are some of my favorite things. And they are not here yet, if they are at all. And so far, it's all Tyranids, which the biggest closest comparison would be Zergs, the Zerg faction in StarCraft.
They swarm and have a hive mind.
Exactly. Hive mind, they swarm, they're like bugs. Some are bigger, some are tiny. The tiny ones are kind of fodder, but there's tons of them, so it makes them dangerous. They're like Zerg rushes all the time. And they are extremely well represented. Like visually, it's like, holy shit, look what's coming down that hill. I can't believe what I'm looking at. But the gameplay problem with those things is that there's so many of them, and it's so crazy, which is maybe the point. I don't feel like I feel like I'm just I just have to stay alive. It's just like, and then, get my sword.
It's power wash simulator, but
a little bit,
bit.
It's just they're everywhere all the time, all at once. And I never feel like, again, not that many big missions in, but so far it's just like, here's a Zerg rush, deal with it. And there's fun to be had there, but I'm dying. I'm on normal. I can't speak to the higher or lower difficulties, but on normal.
Which one's like, is it 2 of 4 or 3 of 4?
Middle one, I think. I'm not sure.
There's 4. There's no middle.
Oh, there's no middle. There's only 4. Then it's probably
4
2.
difficulty tiers.
So it's probably 2. It's wherever the default position is.
Yeah. So if you're having a hard time even on 2, we'll get to my complaints in a moment.
Yeah, because it sounds like this is going to feed into what you were going to say about
Feels like this is going to be, as we talk about it, like an incline down.
Yeah, a little bit.
So I posted, I guess, so some people glommed on to my review on Steam. I gave it a thumbs down. So people think I'm about to go in on it, but I actually
What game did you give a thumbs down, Beau?
Space Marine 2.
Oh, okay.
We just have to make sure we say the name of the game here and there.
Warhammer 40K.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2, a game I've been looking forward to for a year but it's like I put it in the thing, I'll switch it to a thumbs up, but they have to fix. There's problems with the game. I don't rage quit games very often, and I rage quit this game twice.
Oh my gosh, dude.
And I'm playing on the third of 4, veteran difficulty, which the game says the intended way to play, like in terms of, because it marks it, like where did you balance? Like where should most people be playing at? And I like a challenge in my game.
Yeah.
And I agree with you. This is one of the most badass Warhammer games I've ever played. I think the chaplains look cool. They're nailing the Omni Messiah character. Like everything about it is just like the best of the best when it comes to like 40K stuff. I love it.
I mean, the amount of detail and stuff is crazy. The vents on your jetpacks. Oh my gosh!
When like the horde is running up walls and you're just sitting there throwing grenades and shooting at it and like having this is Sparta moments. Like the game is like pretty like good in a lot of categories. But they did tout this as a they even have really good like combat animations. I love the knock and shoot. It sort of changes camera angle and you get a shot off. Like I could do that all day. That's super fun.
Super fun, yeah.
Executions are great. All the production values are there. It's aces, like 10 on 10. Love it. And it puts you in this feeling of a good Warhammer 40K, you against overwhelming odds, and you're not surviving. You're literally, the bulwark through which the enemy is going to break itself on. And that's awesome.
Yeah.
Except, you got like 10 hit points. So we get into the complaints. You've got this tanky ass armor. It's you versus 500,000 people, and you've got 10 hit points. And
or
so
it
it's not
feels
really fun.
It feels
down
like
every
10.
5 seconds.
It feels like 10. It's not really 10, but it feels like 10.
No, not like 10. But like you have this power armor. It's you versus many. Maybe it's realistic that you die fast, but like honestly, even on higher difficulties. I've thought about this so thoroughly because I want this game to be amazing, and I feel like you see a lot. Like I think a lot of people are wowed by like how good it is, the production value. But for solo play specifically, I haven't played with 3 players, but this game seems balanced for group play only. Even though the trailer in like all caps is like play solo or co-op. There are set piece points in the mission. I don't know how far you got, but have you gotten to the antenna? I think it's like the first mission.
Yeah, that's where Scott said he was.
Yeah, all the antenna shit where they climb on the thing.
On veteran difficulty, multiple antennas go at a time. There are ranged attacks happening. Ranged attacks do a ton of damage. And then there's a sea of the Zerg, but also the sword guys. And I failed that mission like 20 times.
Oh my God.
Because the antennas would die before I could do anything about it. And that stupid woman is in there going, you need to clear the antennas. The antennas are taking damage. What are you doing? And I'm like, I'm up to my eyeballs in Tyranids and melee. I can't deal with the antennas. And then I look over at the teammates and they're going, they're just standing there sometimes. And I'm like, okay, the game has problems. This is not fun. I'm just quitting this game. Like, the 2 teammates aren't going to help me. I'm going down every 5 seconds. And whenever I go down, my teammates are like, you really shouldn't be going down. And I'm already getting tilted. Like, it's just all the people yelling at me for sucking. And I'm like, supposed to, and then it's like, are you kidding me? Like, you're doing nothing was super tilting.
Do you feel like it's tunable though? Like they can come and...
Yes, absolutely. Okay. All my feedback is like, do these things, game will be better. So the big one for me is parrying's fun. You can only parry like cool style if a parry blue circle comes up.
That's actually not true.
Oh, can you parry?
No, you can. You can parry, but you don't get awesome sauce as a result.
Right.
And you don't get iframes.
Yeah.
Which is like bullshit because like there's 500 dudes on you. It should work like glory kills. Like when you get executions, you get iframes, and when you have an input one, you have iframes too. When there isn't a blue circle, you don't get iframes. Now the thing is, I don't want to stand there parrying like an idiot if it's not going to be super effective. So I'm smashing the attack button. But then a blue circle comes up, but I'm in the middle of my attack animation for smashing around.
And you miss it.
I should be able to press parry, and it should just instantly snap and give me the parry option, or else I'm taking a buttload of damage because I made the mistake of swinging my sword around like crazy, which is probably what I should be doing. So I found that very confusing. You guys probably didn't mouse and keyboard. The mouse and keyboard controls, the defaults, are god awful.
They're really bad. I tried mouse and keyboard to start and went, "Oh, this is a controller game."
Yeah, same.
Yeah, it's clearly a controller game. So I even tried setting some key bindings up, and I don't think I'm loving it. So it might be a lot better with that. But
I can tell you,
but I will say I still don't think the controls for this game are great.
Yeah, I'll say this. I think they are better, but it's still a problem. That thing you just said about parrying, it's still an issue with controller. It doesn't matter. It just doesn't let you interrupt and whatever. It's almost like, hey, we want this to be like Arkham a little bit. Batman Arkham. Oh, there's an indicator. That's the guy coming after me. I can now parry that and do something about it, which is a great idea, and I love it. And then it doesn't, when you can't pull it off just because you're fighting. F that. That's not great.
And like, this isn't esports. This is not a fight combat game. It's not a MOBA. It's there. You can let the players have fun. It's versus like AI bots. Like, let us parry. Like, the Doom 2016 is a perfect example. I could have my finger on my butthole. If I press glory kill, I'm glory killing. I immediately stop butthole stuff. Sorry, I don't know why I made that.
I love it. But do it. It's great. Lean in.
But like, it doesn't matter what I'm doing. It cancels all things for the higher priority action. This game should do that because it's throwing hordes. And then it's peppering you with ranged. And I'm like, I can't even walk through the Tyranids to get at the ranged. If I pull out my ranged weapon to shoot, well, the local guys are busting my chops.
Right.
I think a lot of people who are enjoying this game are doing it because they're playing multiplayer, which is totally fine. Maybe they should say that. I played Darktide after playing Space Marine 2, and Darktide's awesome. It's well balanced. It's for 4 players. I never played Darktide solo, at least on a high difficulty. This game seems to me like they're trying to have their cake and eat it too, and didn't find a good middle ground. Because I think I'd rather have a fun single player game out of this than 3-player co-op.
Speaking of Doom, the one thing I do like about, you mentioned Doom as a comparison, I just don't want to forget this. The way you get some enemies, most enemies actually, down to a certain health limit, they get staggered, and then they flash kind of red, and then you can go up to them and do a big finisher. And that will give you back armor or health, or there's benefits of doing it. I think that's a great thing for them to take from Doom, and it's a good addition here. It's just that when it would matter most is usually when a guy's doing this and I need to go get him, but there's 400 zerglings at my feet that I cannot get freaking rid of. So I end up that guy just falls or comes back to life, or it just kind of becomes. Whatever that balance is, there's something right there, something in the middle. Like
the biggest tilting was the rats too. I don't know if you got as far as the rats, but man,
no, I don't think he's there yet.
I'm not to the rats yet.
The rat mission sucks. You got to use a flamethrower to make the rats go away, and then there's these rat cyclones that are really bad. But then all the other enemies are coming at you at the same time. I can't use all the weapons at the same time. It's lame.
I'm gonna kind of. I guess we're going to do this like a valley, because I feel like nothing Beau has said I think is necessarily wrong about this game. I don't think anything Scott said was wrong about this game either. I really like this game. I've spent almost 8 hours playing it. I played a lot of it yesterday. Yeah. And I can't put it down. I think the game is awesome. But I think if you're playing solo, I think you are out of your mind to not acknowledge some of the problems with this game. This game has some massive problems as a single player video game experience. If you are playing co-op, some of this is probably going to sound foreign to you. To me, this game is very clearly designed with co-op as the intended way to play it. And that's fine. A game can be made for co-op. But if you're going to include single player as an option, or like Beau even said, they advertise it literally like, hey, solo or co-op, you need both modes to have some level of parity in the form of how it works. And to say that the experience with your AI companions is even close to what you would experience in co-op, I mean, maybe if the people you play with are AFK the entire time you're playing, it's not good. Scott's
showing footage that's just like, I just have to comment really quickly, that is like the guy going down over nothing. Like, it's terrible.
Yeah, but also because this is a co-op video we're watching here, he got revived, whereas in the single-player game, if I die, I'm dead. The co-op guys don't do anything.
No,
bots,
you can get revived.
Bots revive you.
Do they?
They'll revive you, and there's a relic that will also auto-revive you. Well,
okay.
It gives you the option to revive.
Because I've died multiple times, and those guys have done shit for me. They just stand there.
They do that too sometimes.
Well,
but
guys suck.
So I think the big thing about it that I've experienced is very much in line with Beau. I'll kind of talk about the things I don't like and then end with the things I do like, because overall I'm very positive on this game. But I think it's worth noting. I think the issue with this game is how absolutely brain dead the AI companions are. It's fine a lot of the times. Like when you're in a big, just like firefight, they're good enough. Like they really aren't doing a lot, but it's good enough. The problem is this game does what you would hope that a game like this would do, which is vary up the constant, like, now it's a swarm of enemies, now it's a swarm of enemies, now it's a swarm of enemies, by giving you other things to do. And as soon as the game introduces like objectives that you have to accomplish, that's where the inability for your AI companions to do anything really matters, because they don't do the best job fighting off what you're fighting off. And then you get left to try and complete the objectives. Oftentimes it's like, okay, well, you have to do it before it's destroyed, but you're going to be the only one working on that objective. And your allies are going to be doing a bad job of protecting you while you do it. Mm-hmm. And that's where it gets to be a problem. And then the worst mission is absolutely, I don't know what they're called, they're rats or whatever. There's a thing where you have to be constantly doing a flamethrower to clear a path for you. And that's fine at first, but then they start throwing enemies at you, and your AI squad mates don't do anything to help you. So they aren't doing the flamethrower duty, which would be the most useful thing that they could do to free you up to do the fighting. They won't do that, and they also won't help you fight very well. So you kind of have to suddenly juggle a whole bunch of stuff that is really hard to manage. And so I've gotten to a point in the game where, again, I really love the game, but anytime they give me an objective where I have to protect something, whether that's the antenna, there was a core that I passed by the skin of my teeth. I think it was at like 3% when I finished that mission. Anytime I have to protect something, I'm like, ugh, this is going to be bad. Mm-hmm. And it's all because the AI squad is useless. And the thing I think that makes me the most frustrated about it is up on the direction pad, literally will point things out. So you can aim at like the chains that it says protect. You can press up on the direction pad and your guy will go, we have to defend these chains. It does nothing to your AI companions. It does not make them target it. It does not make them do anything. It does not change their programming in any way. Yeah. All they would have to do is set something up to where if you point something out, they do it. That would help significantly with just a little bit of it. But it's there for multiplayer. It's there so you can, without communicating to other players, point things out to other players. It does nothing on an AI level, and that's a problem.
It's frustrating. You mentioned that antenna scene, for example. For an example, the worst thing is the AI is saying things to me like, "You go spin those, the things you got to spin or whatever."
Oh yeah, and they get shot the whole time while doing it.
Yeah, and they'll say, "Go spin the thing. We'll hold them off." And I'll go spin the thing, and immediately and they're over there going, "Do do do." One guy's treadmilling in space.
And then you go down, they're like, you really shouldn't be going down. And you're like, you let me go down, asshole. Like, I'm really engendering bad feelings. Like,
yeah, it is the worst AI companions I think I've ever seen in a video game. And it's really impressive how bad it is. That said, I really like this video game. Like, and get ready to call me a hypocrite, because I'm going to be saying the exact same thing in the negative way in 2 games from now. Okay. But it is a game where its shortcomings are, I think, substantial, but it gets everything else so right that I'm like, oh, this is good. This is so good.
Yeah.
Oh, I really hate a couple things that have happened here. I really hate the way a couple things work, but I love everything else so much that I'm kind of okay with it. I do agree. Like, to me, a quality of life, I do think that a better way to get health back should exist in this game.
Even if it was just health packs or something would be nice. Anything.
I mean, there are health packs, but they're very limited,
they're
and you
rare.
can only carry 2. Yeah,
very rare.
So it's a bunch of little things overall that I think just throw off the experience by a little bit. But I think the net positive of the experience that I'm having with the game makes up for it. Like, I can't stop playing it. And I've certainly failed at things and gotten really mad at failing. I think I've also like turned off the game twice where I was just like, oh, screw this, and turned it off and then gone right back to it because I was like, gosh dang it, it's the only thing I want to play right now. So I just go right back to it. But yeah, I mean, we're in the early release window for the game. If they want to put their money and effort towards anything, you've got to figure out the AI of the companions. Like, if it was just a little better, you have a significantly better game than what's out there just from that one little thing.
Yeah.
Like, it is the biggest detriment to the game right now. And again, if you want it to be a co-op experience, that's fine. But you don't get to go, hey, it's a single player game. We did no work on the AI whatsoever. They're almost useless. Like, you can't have it both ways. You have to pick. Do you want this to be a game that's solo friendly? Okay, then you have to have companions that work, or you have to make the player so powerful in the single player mode that it negates the need for the other people. And that's an option too. I mean, maybe, I don't know, maybe there's no AI programmers over at the studio. If that's the case, then you need to rework health, the way health comes back, and, you know, tighten up the objectives to where, you know, they're basically invincible. I did have one mission where I had to protect a guy, like one of my AI companions, I had to protect him. And for some reason, like, every objective has felt like it was made out of paper. I'm like, I'm working on shooting the stupid antennas and it's just still being shredded, because I think the game thinks 3 people should be working on it instead of just one.
Not just you.
But then I got one where I had to protect a guy, and he was basically invincible. It was the most ridiculously easy mission in the world. And I don't know if that's, again, because of the AI nature, and they think like, well, if it's another player, we got to make this easy. But that one was really weird because it's like, keep him alive. And he was in zero danger of dying. I completely ignored him for a while. He was in no danger. That's the way the other objective should be if you don't want to give us competent AI, you know, companions to go along with.
Yeah, I agree. I think I'm more on your side of it overall. I think it's it carries a lot of the weight by just looking so freaking badass, and I love the 40K aesthetic so much, and it's nailing that. So I forgive a lot. Good. Yeah, like that stuff's so good. His facial stuff's a little weird, just the main character. Other than that, though, it's fine. Maybe it's because I'm so used to the old game, and
he looks like a news anchor, kind of, or maybe
there is a quality to him where it's like, well, I just got done substitute teaching. Now I'm going to go be a space marine for a little while.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that. It's neat though.
I like it. I really like the game. I would absolutely recommend it if you're looking for a co-op game. To me, this is a no-brainer. If you're going to play this co-op, get it. Like, I feel like this would be a super fun co-op experience and a very solid game. If you're looking for a single player game experience, you should just know that there are some pitfalls.
Did you guys, either of you, try the other modes? There's a multiplayer PvP mode, and I really like the old game's version of that, so I didn't try it yet, though, but I'm curious if either of you poked your head in there at all.
Not yet. I really wanted to, play the campaign. The game even tells you at a certain point, like, there's other stuff, but it might have spoilers, like including multiplayer.
Oh,
so
I didn't realize
against
that.
it. So I was like, oh yeah, so I'll do the campaign first. Except I can't get through the damn campaign because the aforementioned reasons. I really like this game too. That's why I complain so hard about it, because apparently a lot of other people are just having just a fine experience, but I play a lot of online competitive games. It's not like I'm not someone to take on personal responsibility for getting better. I lose I lose Deadlock matches and Heroes matches and all that kind of stuff.
Think of Helldivers. Like, that's the funny thing. Helldivers is also punishing as hell. You die a ton. It's co-op centric, obviously, but even in solo play.
Never rage quit Helldivers.
No. Why is the question? It's just a balance thing. It's an AI thing. It's a combo of those things. It's something.
There's just a couple little tweaks that could have been done. I feel like that would just. Like, to me, this is fixable. Will they fix it? I don't know. But to me, every issue I have with this game is fixable to a degree. I don't program. I can't tell you how easy it is to do, but there are certain things that I'm like, this seems like this could be very easily fixed.
Yeah.
Well, they could spend some time tightening up controls. The AI stuff, that might be a lot of work. I don't know. Like, if they've got nothing, like, I don't... But it just feels like response windows and that kind of thing. They could that's got to be tweakable.
I feel like if you said, Chat GPT, write me a program for AI companions in a shooter game, you would get better than what they have in this game.
Yeah, you might.
It is so unbelievably bad. The only thing they're good at is trying to revive you, but usually you died because 700 things were hitting you, so all you see when they're trying to revive you is them run in and go, hold on, brother, and then something goes smack, and they go flying off the screen, and then they go, I'm coming, brother.
Yeah, I'll be there, brother. You shouldn't go down, brother. I'm going to send them this, and maybe they'll fix it here.
Hey, guys, finished testing that game yet? I've got another one I need designed.
We just finished level 3 and need to tighten up the graphics a little bit.
Great.
Okay, that's all it
tighten up the graphics.
Yeah.
That's actually not something this game needs. This game looks so good, and it plays good. Holy shit. It's been so nice. And I know Scott, nobody sent me a 40, 80, or 90 yet, but let me tell you, on a 3070, this game looks great, and it plays great. I've had a couple games recently that I'm like, hey, this game looks pretty good, but it runs kind of like butt. Playing this is a real joy. It runs incredibly smooth, and it's one of those games where you play it and you're like, oh my gosh, this looks so good. And it's running great.
Yeah, runs great on Steam Deck too. I've only played a little bit there, but I think they optimized the hell out of it. I think Unreal Engine 5 is known for its... I mean, I'm sure there are examples of problems, but this game doesn't feel like any of that was left on the back burner. Maybe that's great, but maybe the resources weren't there for making these companions useful at all. I don't know how this stuff happens.
I don't know, they must can they not see their AI not working?
I mean,
they're playing on God mode. Like
if you're playing it on easy or normal, I mean, I'm doing okay. I only died once on the...
Talk to me about when you get to the rat level. If the rat level's easy for you, then I'll know something's going on with me.
Okay. I'll try it.
Even on your easier difficulty, like,
Yeah.
The rat level is, to me, the biggest. I hope there's only one of those. That's the first time I was playing the game going, I don't like this. Like, this is actually not fun. But that's because at most they're asking you to do two things. They're asking you to do an objective and fight well. And it's like, okay, I can kind of half-ass both of these things over my AI teammates. The rat level... they're asking you to do three things: disperse the rats while dodging the rats, and also be good at shooting the enemies and complete objectives at the same time. And it's like, I can't do all of these. I need someone on my goddamn 3-man team to do one of these three other tasks. I can do two, but I can't do all three.
I was dispersing the rats.
The
as chat's like, you have to disperse them. I'm dispersing the rats. There are tornadoes coming towards me. I can't ignore them. And then there's two drones in that one section of the level, the flying guys who shoot you. They don't shoot my teammates. They're always shooting me.
That's the other thing.
I'm like, all right,
I gotta at least taunt. If they taunt,
I gotta
it would
choose.
Be better.
On one attempt, there was the rat turbines, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to shoot them because they're a priority. And the rat turbines tripped me up. I fell over 15 times, and they got the game over screen. So the next time, like, I'll just disperse, and maybe my teammates will do it. Teammates are shooting rats.
Yeah.
Like, shoot the drones. Like, I can't have both guns out at the same time.
Nope.
I think people, I'm sorry to say this, but I think everyone's got like their blinders on because it's a really good, high quality Space Marine production, Warhammer. It's amazing. This is not the control schema, the AIs, not finished, not good enough.
Yeah.
And I rage quit twice. I don't rage quit.
You never rage
like
quit.
that.
No. Not
I
single
think maybe there
player
was
games.
like one other game this year that like kind of got me like to turn it off, but like, yeah, I have a lot of patience with this kind of thing, and the combat is that bad. I'm sorry,
Yeah, it's not great.
it's bad. I don't feel like playing it. Like,
Well,
that's sort of the opposite of John, where I'm like, I actually just don't want to play this. Like,
the combat, I
and
think, isn't the combat's fine. It's just that
no, I don't think so. In my opinion, for me, not.
I
Fine.
understand what you're saying, because when it gets overwhelming and your AI guys are worthless and they're giving you 5 things to deal with at once and not the toolkit to do it, that isn't good.
Yeah. And the rage guys are peppering me.
But the basics
and
are
I can't
there.
execute because I have the flamethrower out. You know,
The basics are there, and I think they can improve it. So I actually have high hopes for them tweaking some of that stuff. And
yeah,
making it
that's
better.
why I left that big review. That's why I'm bitching here, because I hope they go like, oh, that Beau guy, maybe he knows what he's talking about and fix
Yeah.
it for me. But if if everyone's like it's amazing, then maybe they won't feel like doing it. Like, well, that
Well,
one has no
I
complaint.
think everything you said is on point. I happen to like come out the other side and go, I really like the game though. I still
I
think
do
they
too.
should fix it. But
I want to play.
Yeah,
You want to
I want
play.
to play.
You've been talking about
And
this game
maybe
for a
for
year.
I
We all have.
way
I
to
think
play.
anybody that can't at least acknowledge the problems with it, that has tried the single player, I think they're up a tree. Like, you might have found a way around it, or maybe you're not playing on the same difficulty, and as a result, it's easier. I don't know, but like, I think if you aren't seeing what we're seeing, it might not have ruined the game for you. But if you're hearing it and going, they're making that up, you're crazy. Like, it's that simple. Like, it might not be game breaking for you, but if you think the AI in this game is acceptable, then again, I think you're up a tree. You should come down.
Yeah. One good news.
When the fire department gets called on you.
The good news for the tone of the thing, though, is that there's lots of like, to start the ship, we must pray to the machine god. Like all that bullshit, 40K bullshit. So good.
It's
like just
great.
so spot on.
Oh, I love it. I just could eat it up.
Showing them put the wax seals on your power armor. It's so good.
That's so good.
It's so good.
All right, let's move down to a game that came out in 2004. Happy 20th anniversary there. Wow. World of Warcraft, War Within. I've been playing a ton. I got my second character to 80. I love the story. This expansion is a big time win for me, kind of across the board. There's nothing I haven't liked so far. Even things I used to find very tedious, like side quests, are super inventive and interesting to me. And especially dailies. I think the daily system is handled really well. And I feel like I'm always unlocking something. I've fallen in love with delves. I think delves are amazing. They're basically your very own little dungeon. And I'm running tier 3 stuff now, tier 4. And that feels good. I like that some of those set up. I don't know if it's a weekly reset or how it works yet, because I haven't paid attention. But I think maybe it's every day. Different delves will give you greater bits of loot. They'll have an extra chest or something.
The bountiful delves with the relic
Yeah.
coffer keys.
Yeah. I like that stuff a lot. But I have to farm key fragments to get the keys together, which is kind of a pain in the
I
ass.
thought it was still capped till the start of season 1 to go past tier 3.
You're probably...
So,
well, I haven't
I've
done
been waiting.
4.
I did them all on tier 3, and I'm like, I'm just waiting to play more. I have to.
Yeah, I've done
Done.
most at tier 3, at least once I got it, because the first one you have to do at tier 1. The
Right.
second one you can do at tier 2, and then the third one I could do at tier 3, and I've been tier 3 ever since.
I thought tier 4 showed up, but I haven't done it yet. So...
I don't know. I haven't seen it.
no. There's two. It was capped at tier 3. It said start of season
Gotcha.
1, which I think is September 10th. So we're pretty close.
Okay.
But I'm just asking because if I never know. I don't know what the schedule is. Like, oh, there's more quests. Like, like I'm not. I haven't been following it. Like, oh, today they're dropping this, and this. I just log in and see what's new.
What's up? Yeah.
So like the main quest, like I finished the main quest, which was, very touching. Almost didn't quite tear up, but it was, that the Anduin moment was pretty good.
I agree.
I got to admit, it got me, even though I'm, very bloodthirsty about wanting everyone to die at the game. I thought it was, the journey was worth it was worth the journey to get through the story so far.
Mhm.
I've
I think
also been enjoying it.
I think the game. I think the fact that the story is where it is right now, knowing that there are two. Well, of course, there's post-patch stuff still coming in story. I mean, there's plenty more coming in the story before we get another expansion. But these 3 expansions are designed to be 3 acts in a major story. that's made the story better somehow, because I don't feel like it's like, well, that's the end of that, like you do with most of these expansions, and then maybe some extra stuff comes, and when there's some loose ends tied up or whatever, this just feels like, all right, I saw Fellowship of the Ring, I'm looking forward to Two Towers, and I can't wait for Return of the King. Like I have that feeling about it all. Not saying it's at that level, but it's, it's a video game after all. But there's, yeah, go ahead.
Sorry, I was just wondering, do we know if there's a expansion patch?
Oh, yeah.
So we know they're doing the plan was once a year.
My understanding is there will be more story patches as between now and the next
and
full
midnight
expansion.
or whatever. It's okay. I was just curious because it's like they did sort of conclude things, but at the same time, there's plenty of open threads.
No pun
intended.
Tons of them.
Ansarek is around, and Zelatath is
she's gonna be.
We broke her jewelry. Oh no! She's totally gonna
pissed.
stop. Clearly. Yeah. Clearly, she's we played right into her hands.
But like today, I got a piece of story that I wasn't expecting. That I think I had to do something. I don't even know what I did to unlock it, but one of my favorite characters is Brinth, the multi-armed.
The speaker Brinth.
Maybe it's because she's very 40K or something. She's kind of 40K. She's like a
she looks like an Omnisci,
tech priest
worshiper. Tech priest. Yeah, she's definitely got a tech priest vibe.
And I like her voice. But anyway, there's some stuff with her and Bram or what's his name, Junior, the tiny dwarf with the glowy eyes. I can't think of his name.
Helgen. No, what's his name? Helgen. No.
He showed up as it was a bug. I was in what was I doing? I was doing something where he was involved directly in a story. Oh no, it was the end. It was me working through the end of the thing. And at one point during that scenario, when you highlighted him, his name went away. Instead, he was just the word Untitled was above his head in green.
Oh,
so his name was Untitled for half of that scenario, which was pretty funny.
That was kind of funny. Charlie Bronzebeard.
That's what we're going to call him from now on. So I got a little piece of that story today about the big machine thing, the big cranking gear unit that you've gone in and talked about. And I don't even know how I unlocked that little bit, but it wasn't part of the main. So I think they're going to pepper that kind of stuff in. It makes the world feel more dynamic. They just announced what they're going to do for the 20th anniversary. There's a ton of stuff, including reviving a bunch of favorite sets from season 2, or I guess back then they were tier 2.
Yeah, a lot of people are excited about this tier 2 stuff.
Yeah.
Well, tier 2 had some real bangers. Bloodfang for rogues is one of the most famous. The Paladin, I think, is the obvious.
Yeah. With the two
but
knives
the deal
on
is they're
shoulder.
upgraded, right? Because you can go farm those, I assume, in vanilla.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
They're kind of up-resed retakes.
Redone, It sounded like from their WoWcast thing they redid them entirely, which is what you'd
Druid
want.
one's really iconic as well.
Yeah.
There's a couple that are really good. And they went and designed for the classes that didn't exist, their interpretation of what a tier 2 of that class would be. Which I think for Death Knights they absolutely nailed it. I feel like the Death Knight set looks right out of that era. Almost to where, I knew better, but I looked at it and I was like, did this exist back then? It looks so appropriate.
Yeah,
so
it does look really
good. Do you think
good.
we're getting a Nerubian allied race at some point?
No, because even though when you hover, I hate that when you hover over a Nerubian freaking orb spinner, big fat ass looking spider person, it says humanoid. What? I understand the ones that are walking on 2 legs, sure, kind of humanoid. But the ones that are full on spiders, 16 eyes over their face, 8 legs, giant ass, a little bit of armor, you hover over it says humanoid. Who are you kidding? World of Warcraft. They're not humanoid. They're spideroids or something else.
Yeah, or arachnoid.
Arachnid, sure.
Yeah.
Arachnid, I guess, is the way to
I
say
think
it.
we'll probably get the Arathi and then whatever that other kind of troll-looking thing was.
I mean, the Arathi just looked like the...
I mean, you can say meh, but we just got dwarf for the 5th time. They didn't care about putting dwarves in again. So,
also pretty meh.
Hey guys, what if it was a dwarf?
I like dwarfs. I like the Earthen story a whole lot, but I'm not that I mean, I got obviously unlocked the race at the end. You do when you done everything. but it's fine. I mean, for Horde especially, because I've never had.
I mean, I'm not hating on it. It's just, you know, I have a dwarf already. I don't need a rock dwarf, you know.
Yeah, but the Horde never got a dwarf, so they're happy, right?
Yeah,
they get
yeah,
rock
I guess
dwarves.
so. I'm not
Fine.
yucking anyone's yum. I'm just saying it's not. The arachnid is interesting to me, you know.
Yeah.
Why?
Having a
You're
big butt-
afraid of spiders.
Yeah, but they're not really spiders.
I
They're
mean,
like they're just weird shaped things. Like I don't.
so the
I know
ones
they're
that
spiders.
are yeah,
One part I
yeah.
hated. There is a hole underneath the city that's just like a crazy spider hole. And I didn't like that place too much, but the rest of it's fine.
Yeah, I mean
I don't know if you guys have seen the spider hole yet.
Oh yeah, that spider hole I didn't like.
There's like an undead Arathi in there or something who's like, well,
Yeah,
shit.
didn't love that. But the
He's
spider,
the undead guy's got a bunch of spiders on him. Like it's really cool.
most of the Arathi, my thing with them is they just look like those Cockney Battle for Azeroth race that got unlocked. I forgot the name. What are they called?
The Colterans.
The Colterans. They just are basically those.
They just use all the body types, right? I mean, it's fine. It's where they're from the surface.
Yeah.
You know, it makes sense.
But I mean, yeah, and like allied races are like that's where you look for your. Well, it's this body type, but with a slightly different aesthetic. I think that's what allied races are for.
Yeah.
Like I don't think
Nerubians, and you can walk up walls all throughout. You know,
That's your racials. You can crawl on walls and ceilings. I love it. I love it.
I think they should make a prerequisite for unlocking it having to own a pet spider.
Yeah. I mean, look, they're leaning this way.
Don't do that to me, dude. Then I'll never play it.
You have to prove it. You have to show your spiders living and you're
Send
feeding
us a
it.
picture of your spider. We'll unlock the class for you.
Yeah, the bipedal ones though, I could see those. I mean, those would work. You could do those.
No, I don't like the forearm bipedals. No, I don't want. I want to play as like one of those.
With the big fat
You know,
caboose
the
on them.
big butt ones.
Oh
Yeah.
man,
And-
no way.
And not a Nubarak either. I don't want to play as like the Nubarak.
Those Anubarak guys are cool
Beetles.
though. It's like, they're the big
It's funny.
military
They
guys.
do all of Anubaraks for again. Back to your. I don't know if this is pre-show or this show, but you know their lack of Heroes of the Storm acknowledgement during your visit because all the Anubaraks in War Within have Anubarak's moveset for heroes.
Yes. This is what I'm talking about
They
when I say
literally
the
do all of
reference
his
to
moves.
Heroes of the Storm is every other Blizzard video game that has just taken and put all the Heroes stuff in it.
Yep.
It's there. If you know how to play Heroes of the Storm, you know how to do certain boss or combat encounters in
know,
WoW
I'm
by
like, oh.
default.
Yeah. By the way, here's a cool thing I found in that Arathi area, which by the way, these zones, all of them have grown on me, but the main the Hollow Fall thing or Hallow Fall. Unbelievable that place. I want to live there. That's my permit. If this game ever finally says, "Hey, we're going to give everyone apartments in the game or something," I want to put one there, and I will never make anywhere else my home. I freaking love it there. But even like the Ringing Deeps has grown on me. The Spider place has grown on me quite a bit. I really like this cavernous shit. I would like to spend.
I like
time
I
in
like
there.
how deep the caves. My favorite thing is flying from Donut Land to Spider Town. Like you can, because you go down from Donut Land all the way down the hole, and you hang a left,
Yeah.
and if they've got like zoomy sprinkles like on the way down,
Zoomy sprinkles.
and you just go,
Yeah.
and then you glide through Hollow Hall, and you just hit.
Oh, it's
You're in like you're in the
beautiful.
Ringing Deeps for like 2 seconds, then you're in Hollow Hall for a good chunk, and then you go down to the Spider Realm, and that's where it's.
that's where things get
best.
stinky. Hey,
To me, like the Spider Realm stands. It's like head and shoulders my favorite zone over all the other ones because it actually feels like a terrible dungeony place that I'm not supposed to be in. Because
it does. It feels
I'm
very.
food. We're food.
Yeah, it seems like a place
Yeah.
you do not want to hang around long. Their graphic tech on making things look like they've been weaved out of spider silk, like gigantic structural things out of spider silk, is really effective, and I don't like that at all. Like I don't like going down a hole that looks like that. Freaking F that business. There's a lot of those spider holes. But there's a lot of cool stuff in there. I just think these zones are amazing. They're huge. There's always something to do. The game, in my opinion, this is the place the game's been in a long time, and I mean that on story. I mean it on mechanics, and I really feel like what they showed coming up with some of the changes are even more so in favor of what players want. They're going to even let the freaking what are they called? The dragon people from the last one.
Drakthir.
They're going to get to be a ton of other classes now. They don't have to just pick one of the.
What do you think of the scope? I haven't played in a few X-Packs, so this might have already been a change. But there's only 4 zones. If I remember correctly, it's like usually 6 zones in a PvP in an X-Pack. So do you find like, to me it seems to hit a sweet spot. I'm like, there's not too many zones. 4 zones.
They're not too many, but they're
manageable.
they're big zones. So where they change, where they make up for it is the size. Like it's massive.
Okay. Yeah, because of all the dragon flying and stuff.
I think dragon flying makes
I like it. Like I think like it keeps the scope of stuff down. Like if I had world quests to do in 6 zones, that's like just feels like more of a chore. I feel like doing the world quests has been actually okay. I had reservations, but I've actually been enjoying it. I also really like the theater.
Oh yeah, that was fun
event. The theater event's pretty cool.
Yeah,
like
they're getting good at that stuff.
It's like the opposite of fishing. Like put more theater events in. I like trying to earn the applause of audiences. That's great.
Yeah, I did have something happen in a dungeon today that I wanted to share real quick. I thought our healer, I died in this dungeon, and I thought, no big deal. I don't care. I'm not going to complain. It's like, all right, fine, whatever. Yeah. If you guys wipe, we'll go back. It's a short dungeon. It's not a big deal. So I'm not that worked up about it. But I thought that our healer rage quit after I died. And someone did, but I thought it was the healer. And so I got all snarky in the group chat and went, and this is a rando group. I don't know who these people are. I write, wow, great healer we had, eh, guys? Or something like that.
Oh, no.
And this guy goes, I'm still here. I went, oh, shit.
God.
I missed that part. I started seeing the images of Pooh Masters, the Masters of Pooh, and I got distracted.
That's fine. I really like your Pooh Masters of Pooh game idea.
So I didn't notice. I just looked at him like, what? Wait, who made this?
Yeah. So I went and made some old video game screens of Pooh Masters, the Masters of Pooh by Blizzard Entertainment. Also, there's one in here that says, I think it's Professor X, and he says, Pooh Masters, the Masters of Pooh by Blizzard. Oh, no, wait, where's the one where they actually ask the question?
Bottom one, hey, Pooh Master.
Oh, here it is.
Become the Master of Pooh.
Yeah, hey, Pooh Master. And it's Terry, what's his name from Fatal Fury. Anyway.
Sorry.
Where was I?
Just walk it back like 2 seconds.
I don't remember now. What was I saying? Oh, so
Scott turned toxic. He was the person in every dungeon that makes people not want to run dungeons.
So he's like, that healer sucked.
I go, boy, that healer was really something. And I did it in kind of like, it was worse than just saying he sucked. It was just like, boy, that healer, he was sure great, wasn't he? Just super sarcastic. The guy goes, I'm still here. I didn't leave. And I went, I immediately, though, in both the public version of our little group chat and privately, told him, my bad. I thought you bailed. I thought you rage quit the thing, and I was a little irritated. I take it back. I'm trying not to be part of the problem that these things are known for. I hope you're cool. I'm sorry about all that. And he was very nice.
But also the healing did suck.
And the healing did kind of suck.
But also I died, so the healer.
Yeah.
Did you also tell him? Did you tell him also? By the way, I'm the guy that interviewed.
Yeah, I'm the one. I'm the dude on the on the launcher.
Imagine that guy finding out, like, I don't know, one of the people.
I'm like, you know those two.
You know that interview you really liked with Chris Metzen? I'm the guy.
Yeah.
The guy who's insulting your healing.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm talking to Chris.
I'm the fat Muppet on the left. That's who that is. But anyway, he was totally. He's like, oh, it's cool. I could see why you were frustrated. Blah blah blah. And I'm like, it was all fine. But I guess what I'm saying is, it is possible if you make a jerky comment, maybe walk it back and admit you were wrong. And
so I have some questions. Which dungeon?
I had the name right here. Hold on a moment.
As in Kajeji was one of the spider ones.
Where is it? I have to look at my YouTube history. I forgot that it's the Priory one.
Priory of the
prior people. Hold on.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. It's the one where you're in a big courtyard and you got to go walk around and kill people.
It's beautiful in there. Yeah, it's part of. Oh, there it is. Priory of the Sacred Flame. It's called.
Yeah, priority, whatever.
Priory of the Sacred Flame, and
so
it's cool.
Was it heroic or not?
It was heroic. Yes. I'm well geared. I'm geared for all the heroic. So yeah.
So my experience of heroic has been, I haven't played WoW in a while.
Yeah.
I've played SOD, and in there You don't overpull, okay?
Yeah.
And you take frequent mana breaks for your healer.
Yeah.
My experience of heroic is the tank immediately is already run in before anyone else is loaded in.
Yeah.
And rounds up as many monsters as they possibly can, and then everyone burns everything down. This is all we've done, like up to the point just before the boss, and burns everything down.
I'm a little more
so
conservative.
Was the healer? Was that the experience? And was the healer not keeping up? Because then I'm like,
because I was the tank, so I went in there and I was conservative. I would be like, I'm going to take this small pocket of dudes, Well, let's burn them down first, and then we'll move on. Make sure everyone's okay. Like I was actually being pretty conservative.
You're being a reasonably paced.
Oh yeah, I'm not one of those dudes that just run in there. Like I'll wait for people to show up. Like I'm not going to do that shit.
I mean, I didn't mind because I'm a warrior, so I just use blade storm. Like if you want to round them up, like sure.
Yeah. I mean, at some point you get good enough. You have enough.
That makes it a little more hurtful when it's the tank, because maybe if it's a DPS, it's like, oh, the healing sucks. It's like, well, suck my balls, DPS. I put no value on what you have to say, but when the tank's telling you the healing's not good, then you're like, oh, but I'm trying to protect you the most.
I felt bad, so I told him, we worked it out, and I'm just saying. That's the key. The lesson here is to do right by your shitty thing you do once in a while, because we all make mistakes. I made a mistake. I tried to make up for it. That's all. I'm not saying be like me. I'm saying I effed up and I feel okay about it now. Any other thoughts? John, I want to hear your take, because your story, the story stuff doesn't always land with you the way Blizzard does it. So I'm curious how that all landed on you. How'd it go?
So I'm not done with the main story fully yet, I don't think. I've unlocked like a lot of the dailies and the activities and stuff. But I haven't seen the like end cutscene, which I understand there's an end cutscene. So I don't think that I'm fully there yet. I'm getting close though. I believe. Okay. I basically unlocked like daily quests and I got very distracted for a while. Because I was like, oh well, I can go upgrade my gear right now. Why keep talking to bugs when I can go get a better sword? I think maybe that signifies a little bit of a concern with it when I'm like, oh, who cares what the spider politics are doing? I can go get a better ring for my finger. I'll go do that instead. I mean, it's good. I don't want to diss the game. I've come to terms with it as a game that I feel like things could be done differently. I've gone out there. I have found games that do things differently, and that's in my wheelhouse, and not all games have to be that. But as I've gotten into endgame, it has illustrated where it's like, oh, this is why I fell off of WoW. Because I'm like, I don't really want to run dungeons. I think delves are okay, but like as I continue to get like, go do this delve quest, I'm like, okay, I've done delves. Like I don't know if I need to do more delves right now.
Sure.
Like a lot of the little distractions have been fun. Like the theater thing is good. I'll do it almost any time I remember to go up there and do it. But it's one of those things where I'm like, as I'm getting near the end, I'm starting to ask myself, okay, what am I going to be doing in this game, if anything? And the answer is quickly turning into like nothing. Like I'm not really interested in running dungeons with people because I'm worried that they'll call me bad and for leaving, even if I didn't leave. And
have you done follower dungeons this time around? Any of those?
I did one. There was one that I think you had to do.
Yeah, it's in story. They make you do one.
And I was surprised that they didn't do more because I'm used to that. Like I'm used to like, okay, here's the story. It culminates in a dungeon. Go do it. And I've been kind of surprised that they only did it once so far, where they were like, no, you have to go do a dungeon. And I had a great time with it, but yeah, it's the only dungeon I've done, and I don't want to raid again. I just don't like how WoW does raiding. I have no interest in getting back into it. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to do dungeons. I'm not going to do raids. Right now, I'm kind of sick of delves. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, well, what my end game here? And I think it's totally okay. I think my answer might just be, well, I sit out until midnight comes out.
Well, I mean, that may be what you do. Maybe that's John's. That's just what you do with these now. You run the main stories, and that's fine. I think a lot of people do that.
I think there's nothing wrong with that, and I think they've created a better-ish experience for that. I still really wish, and it's not what WoW historically has done, so expecting them to do otherwise is on me. I think it sucks to get to the end of the expansion and not have a culmination to the story.
Well, this one kind of has one. So when you get MSQ'd out and you get to the bookend that is basically the back end of the Thrall Anduin cinematic that we were all shown, when you get a bookend to that, and I think it sews that up real nice. There is more going on.
See it, but right now I can't imagine a world where I walk away from it going, "Well, that was fulfilling."
No, the main thrust of it, like the threat, the Xalatath business, is not done. She's just
Yeah, it's like Chris said
she's
in
had
that
a
interview.
setback. Yeah, I mean, Anduin's, even with what happens with Anduin, it's like it's just the beginning. Like it's a step. I would say the story definitely doesn't feel finished. It was a satisfying.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Is it feels like like a third is done. The Fellowship got far, but now Frodo's got to split it. Like there's a sense that there's more.
Yeah,
but
like you said, book one is done.
Yeah,
kind of
that's
thing.
how it felt to me. I like that.
Like it does feel that way, but I'm assuming we're going to get more. Just even with the raids, like we haven't dealt with Ansarak basically at all. Like we've got to,
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's interesting to hear, because that's the thing where I'm like, this seems like this is building and needs time to be told, and I can't imagine this is going to be resolved in the next couple of quests.
No.
Because I don't think I have that much longer to go. Right. So I'm sitting here going, well, what gets resolved? What's the closing action of this? And again, that's because I'm coming from a place where the box product, day one, you get and play it, is a complete story. It's not the full story, but it's a complete story. I, so far, don't feel like this is a complete story. I feel like this is Into the Spider-Verse. It is what it is. But until the other one comes out, like it's not done.
Well, yeah, we know it's a trilogy at this point, so that's why it's like hard to be like, even when I had reservations about playing the United Nations of Warcraft, it's also like, well, it's the opening act. Like we're gonna meet the Ewoks. That's gonna be a part of the show, and even to some extent, what do you expect from an expansion pack? Like there's always gonna be new peoples to meet. Like the it's gonna have dungeons, it's gonna have raids, it's gonna have stuff. Like it's so it's not like they can just do anything. They're gonna be pleasing their player base, so it sort of makes sense. But I think I can't judge it until I get to the whole enchilada. It's just too early. It's like judging something by act one. Well, the saying goes, anyone can write a good first act. And so while it's very enjoyable, I hope it goes somewhere satisfying. I'm not expecting it to have I'm not expecting it to be very satisfied with this expansion in that regard, because it is act one.
Yeah, I think for me, the best way I can sum it up is like, I was hoping that these 3 expansions would be like A New Hope, Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, more like that. And instead, so far, my perspective, of course, is that this is the first third of A New Hope.
Okay.
And to me, that's the difference, and I don't like it.
Cyrenex said something. Cyrenex said something in the chat that I think is important to note, and I forgot to bring it up. The stay a while and listen options, that the game's always had something like that, where the character may have a little bit more to say if you're interested, and usually it's just text, right? In this case, in this expansion, all of them are voiced entirely, and usually it's multiple characters interacting. Their in-game interaction of that type is so much better than it used to be. They used to just do the standard gestures back and forth, and it kind of made it feel a little flat. That stuff's gone now. They really improved that. I don't think it's possible to understate how good that stuff is now. And I recommend everybody who has a little speech bubble above their head, do their stay a while and listen. Some meaty shit in there. and that really adds to the overall experience. And so
I've listened to all of them. They were good.
Yeah, there's good stuff in there, and there's more at the end. Even after you quote unquote finish the main story that they just dropped, there's even more after that. And what Anduin and Thrall had to say with their stay a while and listen business was some of my favorite stuff in the story. I feel like just everything's better at what it does than it's been in the past. Everything's just improved a little. It may not be enough for players like John, who, again...
I like it, but like, let me, before it sounds like John's just poo-pooing
that's not what I mean.
I really like it. I think this is a...
You're not poo-pooing it, you're poo-mastering it.
I think this is a great expansion, but I did come back because it was like, hey, WoW's going to take story seriously. Does it feel like they're taking story seriously? Does it feel a little bit like a letdown compared to what I was hoping for? A little bit. But that's more of just I had different expectations. It doesn't mean that I think it was bad.
Right. I don't think you're saying it's bad at all. In fact, if you want my review of John's review is that I'm happy I'm happy that John likes it more than you have in the past, because I think you have very valid issues with a lot of the ones I share about previous expansions, for sure. I think this is a definite step in the right direction, and it could set up the next two. There's a lot of pressure on them to do this now, because most of the player base has been, there's a lot of positivity right now. People are in a real good place with this. It's now on them to fulfill it, and I hope they can do it. I really hope they can do it. I did like... Oh, that'll give something away. Never mind. Beau, you'll know it because you saw the end of the MSQ, but there's a scene that happens. It's kind of a big deal and a bit of a redemption moment. And the character, I'll just say there's a character on the ground that everybody knows.
I threw it on the ground.
He's on the ground laying there. And what's great is after the scene ends, the cut scene, I just thought, I'm going to click on him, see what he does, because he's still laying there.
Oh.
And he starts talking as if none of this is happening. And I love it. I love it. He just starts going, hello, champion.
On him, I don't think.
Oh, yeah, you missed out. He may still be there. I don't know if it's permanent.
No, they probably carted him off.
Probably. But when you click him, he says things like, well, hello, champion. Fancy meeting you again. Like, it's just as if nothing has ever changed. And I kind of love that. It's like in Legion when the Draenei leader guy was so prominent. When he talked, he was like, yes, champion, we need to do the thing. But when you just clicked on him to start a new quest or one of the greetings he gives, whole different voice actor talking in a whole different cadence.
Oh, you're talking about Velen?
Yeah. So Velen would be so serious all the time. But then when you click on for the first time, it'd go, well, hello, champion. It's like totally different guy. I love that shit. So fun to run into that stuff by accident. Anyway, wow. Still a threat out there making it happen.
I'm having a good time, and fun.
Any other thoughts, Beau, before we continue on?
Not too much. Just that, like, I've done all the side quests and stuff, so I'm sort of with John in the sense that, like, oh, by the way, I think we're on the same raid team.
Yeah, we are.
Talked about it, but yeah. So
you're DPSing. I'm co-tanking with Bobby, and that'll be interesting. Yeah. I'm
looking forward to the raid aspect. I think it's going to be fun, but it does feel like sort of when John said this thing about like, now what do? I feel a little bit of that. Like I don't plan on doing tons of dailies and quests and stuff. I think I might try to go for the high tier of delves.
I like delves.
I don't know if I want to compete on mythics and stuff like that. So it sort of makes me feel like, well, I guess. And I'm not doing alts. I guess I'm mostly done with the game, except like raiding and some delves. That's two things that interest me a little bit,
We could two-man some delves if you want. Delves
but also, doesn't it feel nice to be done?
Yeah, like I'm not even
like that's the other nice part of it is like,
yeah, it's not a
if I can manage this, if I can walk away from this, isn't it gonna feel nice to be like, and that's it?
Yeah, it's not a complaint really. I'm gonna play Diablo 3-4 in a 3 or 4 weeks. That's such a weird sentence.
Jeez.
I'm gonna play Diablo 3 for.
Well, I was trying to insert a joke about Diablo 4 becoming Diablo 3 again.
Oh, it is true.
But also, it isn't 3 and 4 weeks, and it just really, my brain just like I think had an aneurysm there saying that.
Well, now that you
oh
say
my
it,
gosh,
it
you
fits,
want to
but-
get a Blizzard hot take from me? Let's not go down that rabbit hole.
I don't think we'd be the
Diablo
first to
4
make it.
becoming Diablo 3 again.
I don't
when
think
my
we'd be the
main
first to
complaint
make
is
it.
learn from your previous game that you made. Oh
Well,
my
do
god!
you know why I say that? Do you know why? Because
Why?
Riker, I don't think I'm the first to say. I think Riker probably said it. Because they're switching the level cap to 60 and putting Paragon back in.
Oh, they are?
Yes,
and there's
they
gonna-
are.
They're going to be 6
completely
tiers of
redoing it.
difficulty, and you're going to swap your difficulties just like you did in Diablo 3.
I didn't know about this, about the cap
Yeah,
is no
so
longer
they're
a
doing a completely rework of Diablo 4 to basically be like, yeah, guess what? Diablo 3. Jesus Christ.
It's just Diablo 3 again.
That is wild to me. I didn't know about this.
See, it's hard
Oh
to say
my
3 and 4 in the Diablo context. It's weird.
Wait a
I
minute. So
don't know
people
why.
that hit 100, especially you with your statue out there that I got to see personally up close, how do you feel about that? Is that weird? You did 100
Well,
levels, baby.
I mean, I'm gonna play it, and if it's fun, then I don't, it's just a number, right? Here's what I think they're doing. I think most players don't get to 100. I think I'm right when I say it's a very small percentage of extremely dedicated players who do that.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people say they like it, but they just watch their favorite streamer do it and just cheer them on, but don't actually do it themselves. So I think lowering the level cap means more players are going to get to end game and see in game content and hopefully get hooked and buy skins.
Wow.
Because 100 is a slog.
It is a slog,
It's like it's just sort of moving goalposts, but it really, there are level 100 end game activities that they've been adding that 10 people are going to see or whatever, like 0.001% of the player base are going to get to. So I think they're going to make the leveling experience fast, and they want you to get you into in-game content, and then hopefully you buy some shit. Like I'm sure they're looking at it going like, wow, we retained more players in Diablo 3 than we did in Diablo 4 or something like that. Let's do the Diablo 3 shit. So,
wow. Yeah. I mean,
They didn't say that. I'm just joking around, but I'm sure.
Well, the more you describe,
Why would they change it?
It sounds like it's very much in line with that. And you know what? That was a good system back then. And this, you know what? Arguably, what you do in 4 with that template of progression is actually really interesting to me. Probably because it works so well in 3. That's probably why.
Yeah. It's just
Because did
like,
you get to
I'm
level 100
excited
on any
for it.
character?
No, I never
No.
did. No.
Why not?
Not one.
Don't
Because
you
it's
love
a slog.
Diablo?
Because it's a slog.
Don't you? Exactly.
Yeah.
You might get to 60 though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right.
Oh,
Hey, think of it this way: more people. Somebody in the chat says they could remaster D3, not like Warcraft 3. There are more people concurrently playing Warcraft 3 right now than played any Concord. Think of that. Think of that.
yeah, you can
Anyway.
say that about almost any game.
That's true.
Scott.
That's true.
Almost any game.
Yeah, there's a lot of games.
The one that a lot of people threw out there was that Lord of the Rings Gollum had a higher consecutive player count than Concord.
That is sad. How'd King Kong do compared to it?
I don't know. The one that got called out was Gollum, so I don't know about King
Because
Kong.
that King Kong was a piece.
I mean, I
of
could look
shit.
it up.
You know what wasn't?
tell
You know what wasn't bad? The King Kong game they made based on the Peter Jackson King Kong was all right. That was an okay game.
Yeah, there might have been a good one in there.
It wasn't great, but it was okay. I liked it at the time. It was a 360 thing. All right, let's move on to Star Wars Outlaws. Don't have a ton new to say about this except I got it and played a
Well,
bit.
anything you say about it is new because you haven't talked about it.
Oh, that's true. We didn't really.
Yeah,
I
John
did.
was the only
week.
one.
Yeah,
last
that's
so
right.
you haven't talked about
That's
it.
right. I can't remember if we'd already had it or not.
But it is in shared play, so you guys can have a discourse.
Yeah. So I'm not far enough to give any kind of final word on it. But huge thanks to our internet pal Mattias, who gave us codes. I was able to get one, and John was able to get one.
Not Beau,
not
though,
Beau.
unfortunately.
Well,
There
we had
was
to
only
flip a
two.
coin. We had to flip
It's
a
fine.
coin. Does the chat want to hear my
good.
coin flip? Because it was really embarrassing.
Yeah, so this is the way. So as people know, because I am about to talk about playing more Outlaws, and for anybody that's following this on a week-to-week basis, will be, I thought John refunded Outlaws. I did.
Yeah.
But Scott got 2 codes for the 3 hosts, and Beau said I should get it, and I said Beau should get it, and we landed on, well, let's just flip a coin for it.
Yeah.
And so, Scott, are you going to play the coin flip?
I am.
Amazing coin flip.
And I'm actually going to show video for the lucky viewers at home who are watching live or on archive. So this is the coin I used. It was a TMS Vegas coin. It has a heads and a tails. And I said, John, call it. And John said in Discord, heads. So I said, okay, heads. And then I made this video. Here you go. All right, we're flipping a coin. This TMS coin, that's heads. Whoops, that's heads. That's tails. All right, here we go. John said heads. Heads it is. John, congratulations. The best part is my...
How did you miss the table?
It
You were
looked
2
like
inches
you were
from it.
trying to flip it carefully because you're like, well, I don't want to damage the coin.
Yeah.
'Cause it was a really weird looking flip. Maybe it was the angle.
Yeah.
But it looked like you were trying to protect the coin somewhat. Like, I need it to flip, but I don't want it to flip too much. And you ended up just throwing it on the floor as a result of
Yeah, and it smacked against the table. My daughter laughed in the background because she knew how stupid it must have been. And she was right. But
Like
it,
she watched you doing it and thought it was funny.
Yeah.
Like,
it came up heads. And in fact, she couldn't even see it. She has a blocker over there on that side of the studio. So she couldn't even see me doing it.
Oh.
She just knew it must have been dumb because it hit the floor.
she could hear how dumb it was.
Yeah. So she just
could tell
laughed.
by the
So anyway, that's how that went.
funny.
Anyway, I got in and played quite a bit. I'm so into WoW right now that I haven't had time to really sink my teeth into it.
How
so
far
I have
did you get?
probably
Did you go to a new planet?
yes. Well, I got
Did
taken
you do
to it.
anything on the
Oh,
new
I'm
planet?
sorry. I got taken in a speeder to another part of the planet we're on. So I think I'm still technically in tutorial land.
Oh no.
Yeah, you're still in the tutorial. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm doing a stealth thing where I got to infiltrate some rich guy's thing, his palace or whatever it is.
You made that sound way dirtier than
Get to infiltrate a rich guy's palace, if you know what I'm
I got to
saying.
infiltrate a
Wink,
rich
wink.
guy's thing.
Anyway, so it really just barely scratched the surface. But I will say there are some things happening that I immediately like. Okay, John was not wrong in that this game is a weird visual thing. It is. You said this last week, I think. It is in places beautiful. Even on the initial planet, kind of jaw-droppingly beautiful and very Star Wars. Like, wow, look at the vista here. And then there are times where you're in like just a small space and her hair looks wrong. And I don't mean the style. I mean like there's something going wrong with the physics of it and the...
Well, the style also looks wrong, but I think they're trying to throw back to the 70s when Star Wars
and
came
it's
out.
fine. It doesn't bother me at all. But what bothered me was like the edges had a weird artifacting going on. And there's like the table had like blinky lights where there aren't supposed to be lights. Like there's stuff in it that's like, I don't know if that's just busted, can be patched. I don't know.
Like just janky. There's a janky.
I can't explain it. It's more.
It's just weird. There are times where so I think it's one of these things. Like this is the best way I can wrap my head around it. As graphic fidelity goes up, everything has to also go up. And background, certain environmental details, some of this stuff looks like next gen, best quality you've seen in a video game.
Mhm.
But some of it looks like it's
2 gens old.
current to maybe last gen.
Yeah.
And it sticks out like a sore thumb because of how good everything else looks.
Yeah.
So it's like really jarring. I don't think it's consistent. Like you have to have like Space Marine looks consistent across the board. The characters look just as good as the world that you're in. This has a weird thing where sometimes you'll look at something and it's like, oh wow, I feel like I'm in Star Wars land. And then all of a sudden it looks like something's missing a texture or something's from a different console generation. Like it looks weird.
Yeah. Yeah. And some textures, I'm showing some video now. Some of the textures are just like either not popped in or they're blurry. Just some stuff like that. From what I've heard, a few people have said, well, when you get out of tutorial land, all that stuff gets better, which makes me think maybe that stuff was early and it was never optimized, or I don't freaking know because I'm not far enough in. That's really my only complaint. The complaint that the stealth stuff is kind of wonky. It is, but it's no wonkier than other stealth games or even games that feature stealth. And this is more of a game that features stealth.
I think the problem with that, though, is like... So, I gotta stop bringing up Overwatch, but it's such a good example of so many things.
They're a great shooter.
Blizzard had never made a shooter before.
Right.
So if the shooting in Overwatch hadn't felt great, not that you should give them a pass, but you would have been like, well, they never made a shooter before. Maybe they can figure this out.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This is a game by Ubisoft. The company that won't stop making stealth games.
Assassin's
so
Creed.
You can't really turn Assassin's Creed.
What's the other one? Sam Fisher game. Yeah.
Like,
Sam Fisherville.
Those games, like, that's their bread and butter. They know somebody who does stealth games. It should be top tier.
Yeah, you know what? That's true.
This would be like Firaxis going, well, we've made a new strategy game, and it's awful. And you're like, do you not know anybody that makes strategy games? Like, this is what you guys do. Why is it bad? It's a little bit mind-boggling that the stealth isn't better. And also, I feel like they would have been the first company in the world to learn that you don't do mandatory stealth missions anymore. That's something they should have learned in Splinter Cell. In fact, that's something they did learn in Splinter Cell. Why are we doing it now in a Star Wars game?
Well, also, this is not an excuse, but this is the team who did what are the military future, everything's gone to shit, looter shooters that they made, and people are fond of them. Division, thank you. Division 1 and 2, this is that dev. This is that team.
Okay.
And they don't do stealth, really. So I'm not saying it's an excuse, though, because like John just said, he's right. They know people who have.
Open up the employee directory.
Yeah, in the opening credits, for this thing, they give credit to every Ubisoft studio around the world. They list them all. So I know you have a way to maybe have those people help out. So I don't want to give it too much. It's serviceable, but it's not great. It's not even as good as Assassin's Creed stealth. It's just wonky and weird. And so I don't know why it's mandatory. I also hate the lockpicking thing. Here's the good news about that. You go in the options and can turn it off. You don't even need it.
Turn it off.
You just use your blaster?
I think it's kind of fun.
Doors.
That is also very Star Wars. They lock and unlock doors.
Yeah,
if you're in Star Wars and you don't want someone to open a door, you shoot the control panel. If the door's locked and won't open, you shoot the control panel.
Right. Or R2-D2 has a big tool that if you got a droid that has the cylinder tools.
Well, that's what this tool is she's using, and it's a rhythm game. And I can't freaking get it right. I mean, it works, but it's
just shoot the door.
Some people really like it. I've been reading stuff online.
I kind of like it. I like it better than rotating my thumbstick Skyrim style, but maybe that's just because I've been doing that for so long that just going doot feels better.
Yeah, it's a weird rhythm game, but anyway, they also have a lot of obvious there's paint on this ledge. Yellow paint, the old yellow paint thing is in this game. But all of those things, I think it's great that they let you toggle it on or off. You can have it all off if you want.
That is nice that you can do it.
So they call it slicing in Outlaws? Or hacking?
Slicing. I think. It is a slicer, they call it. One of your first.
We should save this topic for another time, but it's like I think they want to be special, so there's no hacking in Star Wars. It's slicing.
Yeah. I think it's sort of the same.
Like, it's fine. I'm fine with the word, but it's just like now there's a ban on the word hacking.
Well,
old. It's weird. It just makes me feel weird.
I think it's a Star Wars thing though, because the Old Republic MMO, it's all called slicing in there too. So I think it's a Star Wars.
I don't know where it comes from, but
yeah.
You know,
the thing that always blew my mind about Star Wars was when I discovered that seatbelts in Star Wars are called crash webbing.
Really?
Not called seatbelts?
No, they call it crash webbing.
What?
I don't think I've ever heard them say crash web. It's just like
it's
in the lore
a book thing. Yeah, it's a book thing.
Yeah.
Nobody ever in the movies goes.
So if like Catherine Kennedy,
hey kids,
like, gives me money,
fasten your crash webbing. Nobody says it.
If Catherine Kennedy invests in my Star Wars movie and I hand her the script and it's got hacking and seatbelts in it, she's gonna be like, "Sorry, because that's not in the Star Wars creative Bible."
She would also say, "My name is Catherine, not Kathleen," or "My name is Kathleen, not Catherine." She'd say that too.
Yeah.
Forgive me, sorry.
Do find replace on seatbelts, replace it with crash webbing. Catherine switch to Kathleen, and music switch to Jizz.
Yeah. Jizz, that's right. I forget about that until you remind me.
I've used
every
up my
time.
quota of jizz-related topics for the month. So
but it's always John that reminds me of that. I always forget they call it jizz. Yeah. And then John says, "Oh yeah, by the way," he always reminds me every time.
I think about the fact that music in Star Wars is called jizz music. It's a brand of music. Not all music is jizz music.
No,
but
not all jizz is. Wait, never mind.
All jizz is music in Star Wars.
That's true. Did
Anakin have a dad? No, he
no.
was born from pure jizz.
I will say this though. I will say that I like your little furry friend.
Like the cut of his jizz.
The cut of his jizz. I like the little furry dude, and the reason I like him, your little companion, isn't just because he's cute, because he is. John was right last week. Super cute little guy. You use him in the way that other Ubisoft game uses, like drones.
Yeah, I was gonna say he's an organic BD-8.
Kind of, yeah. And he goes and does jobs for you and things like, oh, I can't reach these credits, but he can, so I'm going to send him in this little vent and him to go get it. Like, there's some fun to be had there. Overall, I think the vibe's fine so far, and I'm not far enough to even make that judgment call yet. So I won't say much more about it because I'm not that far. But what I've played, I think people have overblown their problems with it. Not to say John has, because...
Well, let me tell you, as somebody who's apparently overblowing their problems with it, I played a little bit more.
Yeah.
I continue to have some problems with it.
Yeah.
I did see a comment last week saying I stopped right when the game gets good. I'm just having a hard time getting into it. Like, I'm trying. Like, I like the Star Wars stuff. And, hey, remember when I said you're about to call me a hypocrite? This is where it is. This game does a lot of things, like, pretty well, but I think it's kind of like the anti-Space Marines for me. The things that it's not doing the way I would like, or not doing as well as I would like, is ultimately bringing the whole experience for me down in a way that, like the stuff that's good, it's just not lifting it up above the problems I have with the game. Like I love the little companion too. I think, using him to do things is cool. But like I rode on a speeder bike and that was a terrible experience. I hated it. I am having technical issues with the game. I'm trying to get it to run better. It's one of those things where it's like, does this look better than Cyberpunk 2077? No. Does this look better than Space Marine 2? No. But it sure runs worse than both those games. That's frustrating. I'm having a hard time with that. Because it's just not running well for me. So I'm trying to find the fun in it. I do think it will be there. It is a slow start because I am now, I'm now doing jobs for cartels. But I will, as somebody who weirdly plays rogues a lot, like I like stealth, I like sneaking around. But at the same time, nothing puts me off more than a mandatory stealth section in a video game.
Yeah.
Like, it's how I naturally play video games. And yet, if you tell me that's how I have to play video games, I'm like, well, screw you. I don't know.
I mean, does she ever dual wield? I only ever see her with one gun.
No.
Oh, can we talk about that for a second? The gun.
Yeah, let's talk about how horrible the gun is and how I don't trust Scott's ears anymore because he says it's fine.
I went into this fully expecting, based on what John said last week. I was like,
is laser beef now?
Yeah, it's laser beef.
Blaster beef.
Blaster beef. Ooh, I like that, blaster beef. I went into this going, well, John said the blaster sounds like ass, so I'm prepared for how bad this is going to be. It's going to be really bad, and now I got a blaster. Okay, where am I first shooting at? Okay, here comes a bad guy. I'm ready. And I fired it and I went, oh, that's fine. This is fine.
It's not that Okay, let me try and find a better way to phrase my argument with it. It's not that it's the worst sound effect ever. It's the fact that Star Wars, I'm sure, has a vast library of blaster sounds.
Oh, like no one else,
and
probably.
one of the things that I think, if I'm going to say something positive about the sequel trilogy, their ability to make blasters seem like they actually have impact and oomph behind them is something that I've really appreciated in like the post-Disney Star Wars movies. Like when someone fires a blaster, it sounds like it hits. It sounds like it's got some oomph. Sounds good.
Yeah.
The blaster in this, it's not that the sound effect is terrible, but it sounds like somebody went, hey, should we get one of the blaster sounds from Skywalker Sound or wherever they keep their vault of blaster sounds? And someone went, no, we have a
blaster sounds.
We have blaster sounds at home. It just sounds generic. It sounds like somebody else's like non-Star Wars blaster. It's not the worst sound in the world, but it doesn't fit it, and there's no impact to it either. Like shooting the gun doesn't feel good in this game. Like it feels completely empty and hollow.
Do you get other guns, or just you're not stuck with that same gun the whole time, right? You get another gun.
Right now, I still have the same gun, and also you aren't to this yet, but I have seen because if I haven't played enough of a video game when I go on Core, I do try to at least do a little bit of research because I know sometimes people might take, even though I say like, oh, I'm basically just out of the tutorial, they might go, oh, John said it wasn't good. And I don't want to speak for the entire game if my gameplay experience is pretty minimal.
Right.
So I will go and I'll watch other people play it. I'll watch a review. So I've watched the IGN review. I've watched streamers play the game. And one of the weirdest things about this game is whenever you pick up another gun, you will drop it no matter what else you're doing in the game. You want to crouch, you're going to drop your gun. You want to climb a ledge, you're going to drop your gun.
What?
You want to... Yeah, no. It's really stupid.
Oh, I saw a clip of someone going down a ladder and the gun just auto unequips at the top of the ladder.
It just automatically gets rid of it.
Wait, out of your inventory or
yeah,
off like
you
you drop it?
It drops on the ground.
Drop it on the ground.
Yeah, I've seen a clip of this because...
Well, that's weird.
The default blaster is the only thing you keep hold of. And it sounds like
when stuff like that happens, you're like, did you play the game you made? Like they sat and went like, this seems good.
Only the guns you pick up from enemies says Team Money in the chat. But that's like, okay. So what they've tried to do, I get what they've done, and I don't think it's a good idea, but they've jammed in the Halo thing, which is, oh, Master Chief found one of these turrets. He's going to tear it off its mooring and use it, but he's never going to keep it. He's going to use it till it's spent, and then he's going to drop it. That's what they're trying to do, and I think that's dumb. She should get to use that rifle blaster all through the game. That's dumb.
Yeah, it's not good. And I don't think anything that I've mentioned is like the worst thing in the world, but it's, sometimes the thing is a death by 1,000 cuts. Like, I don't like the sound of the blaster. I don't like the way some of the mechanics work. I don't like mandatory stealth. I think the game sometimes looks good, and I think sometimes the game looks really terrible. And all these things begin to add up into a, like, I just don't really like playing in this universe as a result. And I really like the Star Wars universe, so it feels like a weird thing to say. And I do see chat saying, like, I didn't mind. Okay. Like, I'm not telling you what your experience with the game needs to be. I'm telling you what my experience is with the game.
Yeah.
This was it. Yeah. I'm trying my best to have a good time with it because I'm actually one of those people that I kind of like exploring Star Wars without Jedi. I like playing rogues and scoundrels and things, although I gotta say, she feels like the worst rogue in the history. Like, worse than Crofton. Like,
whoa, holy shit.
Obviously falls for scams. She gets taken really
You realize
easily.
Like how bad that is.
I get it. I get what I'm saying, but like, I just, she feels like she comes from the era of, well, Han Solo can't shoot first. She feels like that kind of rogue, that sort of mentality. She doesn't feel like, you want somebody that's rough around the edges. You want someone more like Cassian Andor that's going to like shoot a guy because it's more convenient to help him get away than having to try and take care of him. Like, you want that level of rogue, and instead it's like this falls for everything. It's just, people are like, hey, you know, you want a job? And she's like, well, I got to know who I'm working for. And they're like, that's not how it works. And she goes, okay, I'll take the job. It's like,
yeah.
Oh my God. And sometimes the game does acknowledge it, at least, where they're like, wow, that reeks of desperation. And it's like, yeah, it does. But just because you're acknowledging it doesn't mean that I'm like, hey, can we give our character a little bit of...
It sounds like they just made her a nice lady.
Yeah.
Kind of, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I get that impression even early on. And here's the thing. I think that Disney almost not resents. What's the word I'm trying to say? When you've done something and you feel bad and wish you wouldn't have done it. What's that called? Not resent.
Regret.
Regret. Geez, I think they might regret Andor a little bit, because Andor opened up a box and said, "What if it isn't the archetype you're used to, especially in this universe? What if it is a little skeevy and he may have moments of heart of gold, but for the most part, he's just trying to survive. And it's a risky, awful place. And this underground is not good. And there are no Jedis to save him. And like, they really went there. And now when it feels like they're afraid to go there anywhere else. Yeah. And I think that hurts them. I think I'm with you there. From an overall like story perspective, make these characters more complex and less, you know, Han would never shoot first. I hate that.
Yeah.
Like, take that out of the book, Catherine Kennedy, whatever your name is. Take that page out, throw it away. Do something interesting.
Yeah, you can sit and theorize all day. And some people certainly do in Star Wars stuff, but yeah, some of it's pretty toothless.
Well, there you go. Our brief look at Star Wars Outlaws. I'm going to keep playing it. We'll see how that goes. All right. On to my stuff. Quick one this week. Only one outside of what we played together. Star Trucker. John played the demo back in the day and said, Scott, I think you're going to like this. And I said, oh, okay, I'll wait and see what happens. I grabbed it. Dude, Star Trucker is almost had my name on it. This
Scott Trucker.
It's the most Scott game I've ever played in my life. It's so right up Scott's
It's everything I love about Chorecore. In fact, in my mind, Shipbreaker is in the same universe. I've just put them all together. What they've done is they've taken long haul trucking and picking up jobs and moving stuff one place to the other and set it in space. And that means everything from like crazy docking procedures to the fact that your thing looks like a semi. You're basically the front end of Optimus Prime, and behind you is, your containers, but otherwise you're a spaceship. And sometimes you ding stuff, so you have to float out in front of your cab and patch up a leak or whatever and get back in it, refuel at a station, take the thing through a portal that's like a jump gate to another universe or another system, so you can drop off your stuff. And that's the game. And it's great at that. It's so good at that. I only have one beef, and the beef is that the camera's wonky when you're doing a third-person camera, which is needed for some of the stuff you do. Like leaving your containers in the container drop-offs isn't just pulling up and hitting drop-off. You got to be real careful and like position it. And it's way easier to do that, or more strategic, I guess, or more palpable to do it in third person. The problem is the camera can't sync past the back end of your containers. And so you get that kind of wonky and Mario 64 early camera problem where you're like, my camera is stuck in some geometry. Are you using
your onboard internal cameras to get like your...
For docking and stuff, yes.
I also have the problem like where you have to like use the back camera to line up your docks and stuff like that.
I am doing that, yeah. In fact, I really like the docking procedure once I realized that's what that camera was for. It wasn't clear at first. I was just like, what's this tutorial trying to tell me? And then I realized, oh, that's the way to do it. And so I'll pull up, do kind of a whip around, and then go to that camera inside the cab. Got some great country music playing, some chatter on the CB. Back that thing in there. Bam, I'm good. And it's pretty forgiving once you learn how that camera works. It's not horrible. It's not like, pure Newtonian physics or anything. All of that stuff's great. I just wish that third-person camera worked a little better. There's some talk. Yeah. There was some talk in the forums that maybe you're working on that. The other thing I really like about it, or the other thing that I struggle with is a me thing 100%. I'm curious if anyone else has this, but when I'm outside of the ship, reverse axis controls is all I want. And this is true with spaceship games, airplanes. When I go down, it will lift my plane up, right? So like I'm pulling back the throttle, I'm lifting up, I push it forward, you know, and so on. That's not a problem when I'm outside. On the inside, that feels all wrong to me, and I'm constantly doing it wrong. So when I switch it, it feels great inside, first person. No problem. It's doing exactly what I want. The minute I go to third person, it feels completely opposite to me again. I don't know what's wrong with my brain, but I cannot freaking...
No, they should give you independent controls for each of those.
Isn't it weird, though?
I'm the same way. Yeah, it is.
It's weird that we even have it. Like, why do I feel that way? I'm in the same... All I did was zoom into the seat. Why does it feel opposite? I can't figure that out. But anyway, maybe they'll add something like that. But on the whole, very positive, beautiful game. It's just the right kind of just chill out and zone out kind of chore core I was looking for. And they really leaned, this is the important part. They really leaned into, here we're out. Hey, good buddy, I'm out here on the outside of the thing. Planet so-and-so needs 15 of these by noon. Like, they've really leaned into, like, this is just, it's just trucking in space.
Yep.
And I love it.
I mean, like, even the signs that are floating in space look like interstate signs.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
They're using basically the signs just floating out there in outer space.
Yep.
I love the fact that you can just go in the back of your ship and just see all the systems for the ship, and you can just turn some stuff off.
Yep.
I think I said when I played the demo, I just turned off life support just to see what would happen. And yeah, I died.
Yeah.
Like, eventually my vision went black and I couldn't breathe anymore. But I just love that you could be like, oh, gravity? Just turn that off.
Yeah, no big deal. Turn off some gravity. And, you know, there's a harder mode where it's really difficult to keep your damaged stuff and not have hull breaches, and fuel runs out quicker and all this. So there's a challenge mode in there, but I'm not in it for that. I just kind of want to do my thing. So I'm on the normal mode. I think there's even an easier one, but the normal one seems to be about my speed. And it's just, you know, occasionally I got to patch something. I accidentally backed up too hard into the station. Okay, well, I'll go patch that up. It's fine. It's music playing. It's just chilling. I get to talk to a dude on a CB. He'll give me a new order. I make $500 or whatever the credits are. It's good. It's real good. And then they just have paid it. The glove box opens. There's a manual in there, and the manual is all of like how the game works. That's cool. You can turn the radio off. There's a horn. You know, the whole thing. Which makes no sense because you can't hear a horn in space. But anyway.
No, but I love it. But I'm glad it's there.
Yeah, it's a good game. And it's cheap.
Yeah, I haven't picked it up. All I've done is play the demo, but it was very memorable from the set of demos that I played. I really liked it.
Having a great time in there. And more time in Shapez 2 and Peglin. I played Peglin in bed. That sounds
yeah.
I'm in dangerous territory.
If you're gonna do it, that's
do
a good place for it.
That's where
I don't know why that's funny, but it made me laugh.
Yeah, I'm a Peglin guy.
They're the kitchen. You know,
talked about that at length last week, but Peglin is great. I got to stop saying things like length and bed and all that. But anyway, Peglin is turns out is real good on that Steam Deck, and if you just want mindless sort of Peggle-based RPG action, John will talk a little about it because I think you played some as well.
Yeah, it was gifted to me. Thank you to Shatterproof.
Shatterproof.
I think gifted it to me while we were talking about it on the show.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure is when it came through. I played it. It's fantastic.
It's great, right?
I really, really like it. Yeah. I don't have much more to say beyond, you know, what you've already said, but as somebody who liked Peggle and you know, putting like a gameplay behind it is a lot of fun. Like it just works really well, and it's been kind of addictive and challenging.
Yeah,
so I'm liking.
I'm glad you're liking it. It's very, very fun and just a great just have it up. You know, just play it. I don't know how to explain games like that, but it's great. All right, Beau. Wait. John, I mean, not Beau. You're John.
Wait, I played more than Peglin.
Tell me about Black Monkey Myth Wukong Monkey, man.
Yeah, I've mentioned this briefly the past 2 weeks, and I haven't played a lot of it, and it's been kind of like, I think there might be something to this game, but I haven't really played a lot of it. I finally sat down and played a lot of Black Myth Wukong, and that game is awesome. I am now in the zone of like, oh, this game's really cool. So previously, I had been stuck fighting a boss. I mentioned last week, I was like, oh, it got challenging. I was fighting who I dubbed, I don't know what his actual name is. I kept calling him Baby Thanos.
Oh, the big Buddha guy. That's everybody struggled with him. That was all over the internet for a while. He was hard, I guess.
Yeah, well, apparently he's not even necessarily supposed to be the first boss you fight, but I was fighting him first, so that's what I did. And I got him down, and I was feeling very proud of myself. I was like, yeah, I overcame a challenge. Without realizing that he's not necessarily supposed to be the first boss. And I then proceeded to go fight who was supposed to be the first boss and whipped his ass. It turns out there was a lot of practice when you jump ahead.
Wow.
And
it's like trying to fight the Golden Knight in Elden Ring.
Yeah, it was a little bit of like, oh, okay. But as a result, I spent a lot of time practicing him, which got me very familiar with the game, which I think is needed. Honestly, I think what makes this game kind of hard on the outset is that for the first little bit, like a strong or heavy attack will one-shot almost everything you're fighting in the very beginning. So like for the first little chunk of the game, you're just running around doing a big old heavy hit and something dies and you're like, great, you're learning nothing. Like you're not preparing yourself in any way for the actual game because that's not how bosses are going to ultimately work when you get to them. And so then all of a sudden I got to something where just hitting him with a heavy attack wasn't the solution. Although here's a little tip for Baby Thanos. Heavy attacks are the secret to beating him. He gets staggered from heavy attacks.
Oh,
so
that's true with real Thanos as well. He hates those heavy attacks. Yeah.
He can't stand them. He was like, Tony Stark, all this so you can heavy attack me. And I just started going through bosses left and right after that and unlocking cool abilities. I can transform into a dude. I unlocked one ability. I'm like, I don't even know what this does, but there's a new meter that I can activate. This is exciting. And that game is so cool. I started getting new outfits. I had to fight Baby Thanos again, except this was a yellow one, and he had little friends that he summoned. And it was cool to go from struggling so much with the first time I fought him to now here's a presumably harder version, but you've now unlocked tools and you understand the fighting better. And got him on, my first shot and was like, oh, great. I'm making visible progress here. And the game is just absolutely stunningly beautiful.
Yeah.
And really cool enemy designs. Like you fight a bunch of wolf people in the first area. And then as you move on, you start to fight these people that have like snake heads. But then there's like skeletal snake heads and you watch these big elongated bones just suck onto each other and form this like giant skeletal serpent head as they lunge at you. I was like, this is cool. Like some of the stuff in here, it's just unique. It's not, games do skeletons. You see a lot of skeletons. This is a nice different take on it. And, it's nice to see monsters and creature designs that are different. I mean, I think that's one of the big strengths of From Software games is their creature design and all of that is out of this world good.
Yeah.
But even they have a style. Right. It's a little different from game to game, but they have a general look and vibe. This is like another different one outside of that. And it's just cool to see more differences and things like that.
Do you feel like you're absorbing a lot of what the myth is that this is based on? It's the old story that's supposed to be so epic and everyone loves it. And if you're in China, you know this from a child forward. Like, are you getting any of that out of it? Like,
no, I have
really?
No idea what's going on.
Okay.
I'm a troublesome monkey man.
Yep.
Who likes to pretend to be a peach and then beat people up. Like I'm the one who played a trick on him, but now I'm going to beat him up because I was funny. And yeah, I don't really know what's going on. I think it's there. Like I'm unlocking a codex. And I could go through and read all of that, but I haven't done it. I'm just enjoying the gameplay. I just think the game plays really well and looks really beautiful and I'm having fun with that.
Yeah, I'm very much looking forward to eventually playing this. I don't know when I'll get it. I don't know when I'll have time or when I'll, I don't know. But every time someone talks about it, I get excited, and I think I might be able to actually, perform well as opposed to most quote-unquote Souls-likes. Okay, that's the question. You've played enough of the game, unlocked enough stuff, done enough things. Is it a Souls-like or not?
It's a little bit of one.
Okay. But not like a hardcore one.
If there's a spectrum where on one side you've got your Dark Souls, what would be on the other side of that spectrum for like a third-person action game? What would be the anti...
Spider-Man or Batman?
Yeah, Spider-Man is on one side. It's definitely more on the Souls side.
Okay.
Like, it's definitely on that side, but it's not fully over there.
Oh,
it's
I
not
know.
all the way on that side.
Kirby's the standard on the other side.
Yeah, because with third person,
Oh, Devil
you
May
don't level
Cry
up
would
at
have
all.
been a good one. Yeah, Devil May Cry and God of War are good examples for the other side.
Oh, sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
God
is
of War
still
has levels in
definitely...
Yeah.
This is definitely still on the side of a Souls-like game, and I had a boss that I struggled with a little bit till I learned his mechanics that had a little bit of a run to get back to him, but you don't lose anything. In fact, you gain. So there's almost like a roguelike element to it.
Mm-hmm.
You know how like when you would die in like Rogue Legacy or something like that, oh, well, at least I got to keep my gold and I can increase my level and I'm a little stronger this go around. So that's what this game is.
Okay.
So like I had to fight Baby Thanos a lot, and there were a couple guys that I would kill every time on my way to Baby Thanos. So I think I like leveled up twice trying to get to him.
Yeah.
Over the course of my mini attempts. So you do constantly gain. It's not like a Dark Souls game where it's like, well, you died, you lost all that XP. It's just sitting on the table. So it's not fully over there, but it definitely has a challenge. It kind of reminds me of like the Ninja Gaiden games, where it's like it's hard, but it's not like a Souls game either necessarily.
Yeah, and this got like fast. Well, I guess Souls games, some of them have fast travel. Like there's stuff in here that's more gamey. It feels like, I don't know, it feels like it might be more my jam.
Yeah, I think it's worth a try.
Does the game depress you at every turn?
No, I was a peach and a wolf bit into me, and then I turned into a monkey and laughed at him because he thought he was going to get a delicious peach, but instead he got a monkey.
This game's magical and delightful. Disqualifies it from being a Souls-like on the spot.
Yeah, that's a good point.
You have to have an existential crisis. If you're not having an existential crisis and feeling not agoraphobic, but closed in, then it's not a Souls-like.
I thought when you said you were a peach, I just thought you meant as a good guy, as a real peach.
No, he's literally like. The game has this little introduction, and then all of a sudden, like, that's done, and then it cuts to a peach on the ground, and a wolf man comes up to him. He's like, "Oh, peach!" And then he goes to take a bite out of it, and then it turns into the monkey.
I don't know much about.
And he laughs at the wolf because he's like, "Ah, you stupid! You thought it was a peach, but it's me, a monkey." And then the wolf's like, "I'll kill you," and he's like, "No, I'm gonna kill you."
Yeah.
It's like, you started this. This is kind of a dick move.
It sounds a lot like there's stuff in this story that maybe we'll never understand, but there's this is an ancient story too. Like, oh my gosh,
my understanding is like Sun Wukong is like a little bit goofy and silly. Like it's very mythical.
Yeah,
like and fairy tale-ish. So like. Even in the trailer, he pulls his bow out of his ear. Yeah, it's like a little Q-tip stuck in his ear.
He plucks a lot of hair out, and that does things. So like he lights a lot of incense, and that comes out of the hair. His big staff. He pulls the little hair out, turns into his big staff.
I may still pick this up at one point. It does look interesting.
It looks beautiful.
It's cool. Like it's really cool.
Here's the thing. If you guys want to be entertained, go to YouTube and seek out at least clips, if not I don't know if you can get the full thing, but the live action television series over time that have been made about this. Cheesiest shit you'll ever see in your life. Oh my gosh, it's so bad. So this stuff makes it look like epic and awesome, but the telling of this story is very different over time.
Well, they tell it a lot. I mean, I think I've seen those like martial arts clips where it's like some Wukong and it's like a guy with Teen Wolf hair pasted all over his face and stuff. Like, there's
Yeah.
they're doing things. So,
Teen
like,
Wolf
there's a lot
hair.
of
That's
that.
exactly right. That's exactly
Yeah,
it.
yeah. It's like werewolf makeup, but it's it's Monkey Man style. Like he's depicted a lot, not just in video games, but in movies too.
That stone guy was cool. All right.
I guess he's like a John Wick. John Wick's a murderous person, but you get an archetype, and you can't get enough of that archetype. I think that's what he is.
Wasn't that skin in Heroes for what's his name based on it?
Samuro, yeah.
Monkey King thing or whatever.
Yeah. But like all this anything with the skin has to have a monkey man in it.
Yeah, Fortnite yesterday had the Wukong skin on sale. It's not based on this game. It's its own Wukong skin. It's its own different thing.
Interesting.
So I feel like every game has it.
Yeah. Well, there you go, Beau. Oh no, tell me about. Sorry, I keep doing this.
Oh, real quick, two other things. I downloaded the game Core Keeper.
I have that game.
Yeah,
that game's good.
Have you played it?
Yeah, it's a fun little weird.
Hit 1.0 this week or something.
Did you talk about it on this show?
Forever ago, and I think
you did a long time ago.
I saw Core Keeper and I was like, this sounds familiar to me. Is it just because it has core in the title? And I couldn't figure out why it seemed familiar to me.
Yeah.
I saw it on I think the 1.0 hit, so it popped up on Steam, and I was like, Core Keeper, that sounds so familiar. Is it just because it has core in the title? And so I decided to look at it, and it had really good reviews.
Yeah, it does.
And I looked at it, and I was like, this looks kind of delightful. I like the look of this. It was on sale. And so all of those things came together, and I was like, well, I'll check this out. And I did. But I didn't play it very much yet.
I didn't get very far either.
Other games came out.
Right.
You can play with up to 8 players.
Yeah, it's got 8-player co-op. It's crazy. I don't know how it works because the single player seems fine. Like it doesn't seem like I can't figure it out. But
it seems really, really neat. I want to spend more time with it, but again, just so much stuff came out. Like I got it, and then it was like at the same time. I was downloading and I'm like, all right, well, let's try more Black Myth Wukong. And then all of a sudden Shatterproof sends me Peglin. And then it's like, oh, Space Marine 2 is here. And oh, now we're getting Star Wars Outlaw to try again. So things kept pulling me away. But it seems really, really neat, but I haven't spent enough time with it to say one way or another. I'll just say like, it's a game I'm definitely going to spend more time with. And, I mentioned it for Star Wars Outlaws. Usually if I haven't played a ton of a game, I'll like go look up bits about it. This I actually haven't seen much besides a review for it. So I can't speak too much about the game, which is why it's on just quick updates. But so far, I love the art style. I love the vibe, and it controls and plays really, really well.
The review I just read says this is 10% Stardew Valley, 20% Valheim, 15% Don't Starve, 5% Factorio, 50% Terraria, which is 100% reason to buy this game. So
that's pretty good.
Yeah, I felt like that too.
That seems like 50% to me, but
yeah, I don't want to get hung up on the math here, but
Terraria was kind of a snore fest for me. But
was it? You didn't like? So you weren't a Terraria guy? That was all right.
It's like 2D Minecraft, right?
Yeah,
and, Minecraft was kind of.
Yeah, it was all right.
I'm making jokes. I'm not. This is not a serious piece of feedback.
50% Terraria. Holy shit, that's a lot of percentage. But anyway,
yeah, it's a big. That's what I mean. It was like big percentage. Terraria.
What struck me about it was it felt like I had really good exploration. It felt like I was actually like, whoa, what have I just knocked? When I knocked this wall down? Where did I end up? This is insane in here. Like that kind of feeling. I like that a lot, especially in a 2D game.
Well, yeah, and that was the thing is like I've barely spent any time in it, so I was just like, this is deeper than I expected it to be because it's got like a very inviting like art style and stuff like that. And I was like, all right, this seems kind of cool. This seems interesting. Read up on it, and I was like, all right, it looks good. I got in, and I was like, oh, this is deep. I need to spend some time and really sink my teeth into it. Which again, that's why it's in the quick updates.
Nice.
Oh my gosh, someone in chat is spying on my Steam. 0.6 hours and that review? Yes, that's
Yeah,
why I said I've barely played it.
He's barely touched it, Retech.
What part of barely played it said I've spent hours in it? Like, I've barely played it.
Yeah.
Let me be clear.
Yeah.
That's why it's in the quick updates, and I've said multiple times, I've barely played this game.
Yeah.
This is why I go and look like I have to.
Did you play it much?
This is why you don't.
No,
this is,
I haven't played it very much.
This is why you don't. This is why you don't see the emails. I get this stuff all the time. It's like, you reviewed a game, you only... I'm like, we didn't review anything. In fact, we caveated it by saying, I barely touched it, but I'm excited to play more.
Yeah, we're hanging out talking about games we played. Like, it could be 2 seconds, it could be 5 billion hours.
Yeah,
It's fine.
Retech Jor says,
okay,
it was
they
my
were talking
review?
about me. Sorry, Retech Jor, I take it back. They were talking about the person you pulled up, not me.
Oh, the review
But
I pulled up.
ironically, that's the same amount of
How
time
dare-
that I
how-
have in the game.
How dare you call out people in chat?
See, we've done it again. I did. It was like my raid today. Same thing. We've done it again.
Yep.
That's fine.
Yeah, I blamed the healer, and the healer hadn't left.
Nope.
But anyway,
That's
I'm sure.
so unfortunate, dude. I feel bad. I have like a contact feeling bad from that. I'm like, oh,
A contact high from it or low?
Yeah,
Contact
or
low?
contact shame. Contact shame.
Contact shame. Yeah. That's
got
right. I
contact shame.
prefer glasses. Contact shame.
Like,
So anyway, Core Keeper. I'm gonna get back to it when I can put down these other games. Maybe that'll be when Space Marine 2 is done. If I can stave off this unending desire to play Cyberpunk 2077 again.
oh shit, it's so good.
I know. Always.
Always good.
I logged back in and just walked around this week.
Just parentally.
I didn't put it in my list because I'm
watch
like,
you
I didn't
play it, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my god, I want to play.
I know you guys talking about it again. Maybe we want to get in there and finish up that story and even just do more stuff in the old town or the place before the expansion.
Yeah, no, I logged in and was just walking around. I'm like, let me look at buildings. You know, what are the buildings here? Like, there's no gameplay left to do.
Yeah. Yeah.
I spent more time in the Castlevania Dominus collection.
Very nice.
Specifically, I continued to play Order of Ecclesia, or Ecclesia, or however you say it. That game gets. You want to talk about a game that's really hard? That game got really hard. I got to this boss that's like a crab in a tower. It's a big crab though.
Crab tower.
Like it's a big crab. And he's
Right.
climbing up, and you have to jump up to avoid him because he takes up all of the ground. And I know how to beat him, but it's one of those things where it's like, okay, I know the pattern, I know what needs to be done. I just have to execute it properly and at the right time, and I keep dying.
Oh.
And I keep getting really mad about it. I keep turning off the game and going, well, F this game, and turning it off every time it happens. And so I've been enjoying playing like Castlevania games so much because I just like the series a lot that I was like, okay, well, this game is really hard. Let me boot up Dawn of Sorrow because I love Aria of Sorrow so much. So let's see the continuing adventures of Soma Cruz, Dracula reincarnate.
Yep.
And loaded that up, and it's so good. I absolutely love it so much. Like the Soma games are just super good. Dawn of Sorrow, Aria of Sorrow, both absolute winners. The only thing that has me a little concerned is the first power I unlocked in that game, like special power, is the ability to break blocks, which on the 3DS would be you take out the stylus and you go.
Oh, right.
And in this game means I either have to grab the mouse and do it with the mouse, or you can press, I think it's like the left trigger or right trigger on the controller, and it will give you a cursor, and then you move the stick over, and you can do it with the stick on the cursor. It's a little janky, but I don't know if there's ever going to be a time where you have to do it critically super fast. So it might be okay, but I am a little concerned. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is so... I feel like I'm back to like playing games in like the 90s where I was like holding a controller with one hand and my mouse with the other, and I'm like, this is how PC gaming works.
Yeah. Those were the days. Man, I forgot how good this game looks too. So much animation frames.
Yeah. It's so good. I love these games so much.
Yeah.
And it's so anime and stupid. And
The stories
but in
are
a,
so
like a
dumb.
really good way. They're like, but Soma, aren't you Dracula? And he's like, I am Dracula, but I don't have that power ever since I left the castle. And then someone's like, you're Dracula, I'm gonna kill you. And he's like, I'm not that guy. and then Alucard shows up, except his name's like Aracado.
Aracado!
And he wears a business suit. Oh, it's so dumb, but I love it so much. It's so good.
Aracado. You get that off Temu. That's terrible.
That's his name. It's
terrible. I love it.
I love it. You all should play it. It's good.
All right, and you played some Peglin, which we talked about.
And I Peglined.
You did some pegging.
I did it in the office.
Peg England.
In the kitchen, waiting for pizza.
You don't get a baby that way.
No, not that way. Beau, let's swing it on over. I've been dying to hear about this because I haven't played it yet. Deadlock. Yep. Tell me about Deadlock and why is it the greatest thing ever? Because that's all I ever see you playing. What's going on?
Yeah. So
well, first, what is Deadlock? Because this might be something people don't know what it is.
Yeah, Deadlock is a third-person MOBA. So think Smite, Paragon, which now is predecessor, and apparently over 2 million people play, which is bullshit, but
crazy to me.
Who makes Deadlock? Because I think that's also
Valve, the makers of Half-Life and Portal.
Valve Corporation, the owners of Steam.
Yes, Gabe made the game.
Okay,
the weekend.
It came down, put his knives down.
Yep.
Came out,
so the fun thing about Deadlock is this: Deadlock was this big rumor because whenever Valve makes a game, it's like, I think they're making Half-Life 3 finally. There's a job posting for a level designer. Like it's always a thing, right? So this is a 6v6 currently in alpha. They stress heavily it's in alpha, but it's very playable and very stable. Third-person MOBA. A Smite is another one. Battleborn. So basically, it's MOBA in the true sense. So for the Heroes of the Storm listeners, as well as you guys, not Heroes of the Storm, not Team Brawlery. This has full last hit, but if you'll notice, the footage is showing when you kill an enemy, you get 50% of the experience, and then a little orb floats up, and whoever shoots it first gets the other half. So you can steal XP from the enemy. There's a skill-based kind of competition in lane going on where you have to last hit the enemy to get some XP, and then you have to shoot your own to secure the rest of it, and then shoot the enemies. And also, you can just shoot the enemy, because getting killed is also, not dying in MOBAs is important. Remember Patrick's revelation in Heroes of the Storm?
Yeah, I remember that.
Here, when you die, not only have you given your opponent souls, but you're missing out on waves of soak at that point and last hitting and stuff. So it really puts you behind. Instead of towers, there's candlemen. Everything here is a candle, or a giant, flame head thing, because the setting is in New York City. It's in New York City, and it's like post Depression era, like 1940s. Everyone's like a spy or works for a secret organization. The big blue dude that's in every one of these has a trench coat. There's a character whose weapons are a shotgun and a briefcase. And when he wants to avoid damage, he gets into the briefcase, and then he shoots the trench coat out and teleports to where the trench coat goes.
Okay.
The theming is amazing. Like, they've hit a slice of creative space that isn't fantasy, science fiction, or some weird superhero thing.
Not already done by somebody else. It's like brand new.
I have not played a game like this with this theming ever, and so when you get in and just see the heroes, it feels fresh and original. All the creative space, even though, guess what? This game has its version of Blitzcrank, aka Stitches, aka Hook Guy, like in every one of these games. In this game, he's called Bebop, and he's actually kind of awesome. I like playing Bebop. He likes exploding. He likes explosions.
Isn't Bebop a Turtles character? Right?
Yeah, he's Bebop is, I think, a rhino.
Rhino guy? That's
mutant
right.
rhino. Rocksteady is a warthog. I'm not sure. So another important aspect of this game that's one of its big innovations is mostly these MOBAs, you have experience points you use to level up, and then you earn gold. This game combines the two. So it's souls, and souls are spent at the shop to get get a whole plethora of items to customize your character. But also there are milestones at the number of souls you get that power up and level up your character, give you unlocks for one of your 4 abilities. And each character has, it's 1 through 4. You don't use QWE because they're used for other things, which I'll get into in a minute. Your abilities are 1, 2, 3, 4. You got 3 abilities and an ultimate, and some of the ultimates are pretty fun and special. It's a remix of stuff you know and love from other games, but the heroes have identities. If you go into this thinking you're going to play a shooter, like a hero shooter that they call it, no. All right, when I play Hanzo, I expect a headshot and one-shot all the squishies in the game at long range. When you hit something at long range at level 1 in this game, you're going to do no damage or 1 damage, and people have 700 health at the start of the game. It does nothing. So you'll never get long-range one-shot sniped, except for one character who can kind of do that, but I think you still have to be at 30% health or lower. You'll never be at max health and get one shot by anything in this game. You might get killed pretty quick in a 6v1 as any MOBA, but 1v1 no way.
Is the game is it like Dota 2 where games are an hour and a half or whatever?
So my matches have ranged from, I think on average, probably 30 minutes. Some of them have been shorter. You get stomped. It is beta and people are playing for the first time. There's no real matchmaking apart from getting 12 people in a lobby. So sometimes the skill difference is pretty high. Yeah. Including myself, I'm getting there now where I'm starting to dominate in lane just because I'm so used to the game and my muscle memory is getting good. But it still depends on the hero. I suck with a lot of heroes too.
Is it still the equivalent of jungling roles like that?
So there's no real meta to speak of right now. People just sort of stay in lane and then just sort of fight. There are jungle minions to go do, and I think at a certain point, once a pro scene evolves, there's gonna be that stuff's probably coming. But for the most part, expectations are low. Some people, just get in the lane, play the mechanics, enjoy the game. It's pretty chill. You might get a few people on your team that are try-harding a bit, but ultimately, I've heard people just go this is my first time on this hero, and people just okay, whatever. Everyone knows right now this game is an alpha. There's no meta, so to speak, and I haven't really been criticized for builds or playing bad. So I think everyone just knows that they're just in there to practice and to get a feel for the game and do the thing. What's interesting though, one of the other things we need to talk about this game is the way they handle fast traveling. So you don't have mounts, but it's not like a lot of these MOBAs where you just kind of have to walk slow. It has a monorail system. So have you seen people hanging off these I don't these, what are they what's the word for it? You can go out and do that as an activity. With,
I know what you're
you
saying.
Go on a big hill and you slide down a rope.
It's called not gondola. It's like a gondola, kind of, right? But they're
zip lining.
Zip line.
Thank you, Omega 9. And Gary Tolbert.
That's it.
Yeah, zip line. Everyone thought of zip lining.
Everybody.
It's you basically zip line into lane, and you can your zip line will light up where your farthest minion wave is pushed out. So if your lane's pushed out, you can zip line all the way to the enemy team. And if it's pushed in, then you can't zip line that far. But what it means is you can zip back to base and buy things and zip back out pretty quickly. They also put stores out on the field. If you're controlling your outer towers, you actually get access to a store, and then there is another store in the field. I mean, the map's not final because it's an alpha, so who knows where the game ends up. But it's pretty good. And there's a lot of sightline protections, so it's not a wide open arena map. There's a lot of buildings. It's a metropolis. There's tons of shit in your way, so you can also find a lot of ways to get cover and run around. But the zipline system's cool, and it's just cool to be up in the air. Some heroes have abilities that just make them fly in the air. The sniper, rather than be behind cover to do your best sniping, you got to be up in the air. Which makes you super vulnerable to counterplay because you're up in the air. Everyone can just shoot you. So there's some pretty good ideas balance-wise and competitive-wise. And when I played my first few games, I wasn't super impressed. But every time I sat down on my computer, I'm like, I'll just play a game. I'll just play a game. And now I'm at like, I'm sure I've played 50 games or more this week since getting in. And I fall more and more in love with it every day I play it.
Typical Valve,
I love
man.
this game so much.
So
yeah, no, it's good.
Is it
it's
weird
just,
to you that they never do alphas? This is weird. Why did that happen? Because was it the leaks and they just went whatever? So
my
put it out there.
sense was that some stuff got leaked, yeah, and then I guess they sent some invites out, and it doesn't look like they capped it or shut it off at any point, and it's just grown and grown and grown. I haven't given any invites out myself, but there is a place for me to do that, and I probably should try and start bringing some people in. But it's been a weird example of virality in the face of Concord, which is like we gave it a bunch of money, so it should work.
Yeah, and
this is like we're just working on this thing, like and they're even calling it a hero shooter, which it's not. But
yeah, they're just trying to attract people.
Definitions.
Yeah.
I don't even think they're trying to attract people. I really think they're trying their hardest not to attract people, and the people are just coming to play
because it's Valve, and it's good. It's Valve, and it's good.
It's good. Like I think if it was, remember they released Artifact. They're capable of making trash, and like I'm not a big fan of Dota 2. I've played it a couple times, and I was very resistant to coming back and playing it more. So it's like it's not a shoo-in for me. Like, oh man, Dota 2. Of course, I'm going to want to play Deadlock. Deadlock, and I've played like third-person shooter. I played Battleborn. It was not that good, and I played Paragon. Paragon's not that good. I'm sorry.
I liked Battleborn.
This has got like the jizz, you know. It's like
it's got the
Star
jizz.
Wars jizz music.
Yeah, it's got the jizz. Star Wars jizz.
They've got something fun here, I think, and I've been really enjoying it. So
yeah, it might be. I don't know. It'd be interesting to see if we can see more of this. I know they have multiple projects in the works. I wonder if they're going to be more open about, letting players in.
They say early alpha, so it could be years before this is like a thing. Like who knows? Like
they're in no rush.
So it's kind of like I don't want to say like a secret society because like you can invite people and get in, but it's just like it really is that word of mouth, like the way Minecraft has done it and other games that have just like, had people playing it, people liking it. And you're not going to have this huge brouhaha. Again, it could die off, but I think it's going to have if you said Shroud really likes this game, then I think probably it'll have its community of people who really enjoy playing. And like I said, I've been hooked on it all week.
What's the final? What's the core or the whatever it is at the end that you have to fight? Is it a creature? Or is it
it's a patron.
Oh, so it's one of our people who pay us every month for their fantastic enjoyment.
Yeah,
great.
There's a patron. That's the other thing too. Is the creep is kind of awesome. They're little like, so it's like the occult, right? So it's these little weird, creepy things with candle heads. Like they don't have heads; they just have these candles, and you shoot the candle. It's like a candle shot.
Yeah. Kobolds.
Yeah, kind of. Well, without a head, right? Headless kobolds.
Headless kobolds. No shoot candle, they say. Yeah.
The hero designs, I love, like visually. I love. There's one guy called Dynamo, and he's just a ball, like a singularity ball, like some sort of tech, but he's wearing a coat and pants. But when he ults, all the wind flows through him, and he doesn't have any body, so it's just a ball going. Like it's really, just a bunch of devices stacked on some clothes, and it's awesome.
Weird.
Like it's so, like I would get in and give it a try. It's really cool.
I want to. I don't know. I don't love like you start saying things like last hit and soak and all this, and it's just like
you gotta get good. Get good, son. You gotta play that MOBA. But I agree, it's a taste not for everybody. Having done Heroes and us talking about these things for many years.
So,
however,
I do look forward though to winning a map, getting all the way in, pushing them all back, and killing Shatterproof at the end because the patron is who you want to kill at the end of the thing.
Right.
Poor Shatterproof.
Just kidding, Shatterproof. He also Shatterproof just said in the chat, I wonder if Jocelyn would like this because she was really into Smite too. She might. She loved Smite. Smite and Smite too.
I never really got into Smite.
Might have included her in the invites list. I included a lot of people from my Steam's friend list when I sent out invites.
It's just your friends list, then I probably should.
I mean, I didn't do everybody. I didn't want to spam, but and I've forgotten who some people are on my friends list, to be honest. But I was pretty sure I sent it to people I knew.
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be for everybody. I think you got to have the MOBA bug, which I definitely have. I have a bad game, and I'm like, I can do better on the next game. And what if I build this guy this way, and how's this item working? You know,
It's this primordial
Next thing you know,
Beau,
you're playing
man.
10
This
games.
is you 100%. I'm glad.
I'm really kind of, yeah. I mean, I wonder if it's gonna be like the next big thing for me, because I'm really enjoying it so far. You know, as a MOBA player, you know, like
Hey, wiggle your cable one more time, will you? Just starting to hear it
am I-
getting all buzzy. again.
Yeah, wiggle your cable,
There?
please.
There, that's better. Oh wait,
Is that
maybe
better?
say something.
Talk more.
Something's in the air.
I still hear it a little bit. It's weird because sometimes there's nothing, and then sometimes it's like.
It must be somewhere in the cable then. How about now? I'm just picking up the cable.
Better now.
That's good. Just hold that cable.
Yeah,
all short.
just hold the cable for the rest of the
All
night.
right, how's it now? Is it good?
Hold
good,
it
yeah,
up
you're
above
good.
your head like this through the entire
Yeah.
show.
It's much better now.
And a
Anyway,
ready
that's all I got to
pose.
say about Deadlock. It's super awesome. I'll probably be talking about it more in the weeks to come.
Nice.
Maybe not as in depth as we talked today, but I wholeheartedly recommend it if you can get in.
Seems rad.
You like MOBAs. Good.
Seems rad.
Very good.
All right, we're going to take a break. When we come back from the break, we got to do Martha. We're going to rip through some other stories, and we have a phone call this week. So if that all sounds like something you'd be into, well, then I have good news. You're going to want to be right back here shortly. All right. I don't hear the weird sound at all. All right, we're back, everybody. Welcome back to the program. We are back and ready to just bring you even more. Like this, a Dear Martha grab bag. We got something from the guy named Congo Bongo. All right.
Great.
Okay.
Black Wukong Monkey Boy Congo Bongo. I don't know what.
Yeah, be careful with the black monkey, right? Let's not do
I
this.
should. I really should.
Let's just be careful with that.
I'll just be just
assemblage of words.
gingerly tiptoe around that.
Flirting with a disaster.
That's right.
Hi guys, I just got back. I hope we're having a good conversation. Just for the audio record, I was gone for a while.
Yeah, John
I'm
was
back here.
John now just now here.
Just sat down.
Yep.
And I'm happy to be here.
You
now.
did it once earlier, and I was like, it's just a jumblage of words. But if that's gonna be the new Ghost of Tsushio, like I don't.
Sushio. Ghosts of Sushio. All right, well, let's get to this. Congo Bongo says, for the Martha segment, I'm just curious what he would write home about when it comes to Concord getting pulled in just 6 days. I think it's 11 days after release due to poor sales. Says Congo Bongo. Well, Beau or John, what do you think of Congo Bongo's idea? Do you think he can fashion
let's
something?
let's do it.
All right, here
Figure it
comes.
out.
6 days now. I thought it was 14, then it was 11.
I think it's 11 now.
I think it's confusing because the announcement was before the end date.
Oh,
So I think it's like, oh, hey, it's only been this amount of days, but when you take into account what it's going to be, that's more.
That makes
so.
sense. Yeah, I just saw the number was changing a lot. I was like, okay.
All right. Well, here's your Martha music. Whoops, that is not the right file. Hold on. There we go.
That's a new genre of music.
We call it potion music. Okay, here it is.
My dearest Martha, I'm happy to be writing to you again. I know it's been a while since you've heard from me, but I was injured on the field of battle and held up, unable to do much of anything. I couldn't read, I couldn't write you letters, and most of all, I couldn't play my newest video game purchase, Concord, which I purchased for my PlayStation 5. Martha, I'm excited to finally play. I know I'm going to be getting into this game 2 weeks late, and I'm sure metas have already developed and things are already established, so I'm going to have to play a little bit of catch-up. But I think I'm ready to finally settle down and have a forever game in this game of Concord. I think that, Overwatch has run its course, and I'm ready for something new, and I'm ready to sink my teeth into it. I'm really looking forward to becoming a master of hot sauce lacking lizard. I think that's going to be my main hot sauce lizard boy. I think that's the direction I'm going to go. So, Martha, I'll keep this letter short because let me tell you, today, September 6th, mark it on your calendar as the day my Concord journey begins. Yours in this life and the next. Whoopsie Daisy 93.
That was perfect. Can you imagine being that poor sucker? Somebody right now is buying that game, right? Right? Somebody doesn't know about
They're gonna
this.
master it. They're gonna get it.
Let's see. Concord Steam. I'm just curious. What does it say? Does it warn you at all? Does it say... No, it does not. It just says... Oh. And you know what? I take that back. You can't buy it. Concord is no longer available on the Steam store, it says. Then it says, notice, PlayStation Network account required. Oops. Maybe take that one down, Sony. It looks weird now. All right. Well, that was fantastic. It is now time for us to... what do we do? Oh, we got other news. Yeah, other news.
News of note.
I think it'd be interesting to do this. Let's talk about the September games that are here or coming for the rest of this month. We already know about your Warhammer 40K 2, or no, Warhammer 40K. I can't talk.
Space
Marine 2. Oi. That's already out. But also on the 3rd, we got the casting of Frank Stone, which was a scary game from Supermassive Games, and I don't know anything about it, but I don't want to play that. It's got a machete and some kind of crazy man in it, so no thanks. Age of Mythology Retold. I'm hearing real good things about this.
Yeah, people seem excited about it. You gonna play it?
I think I might. Currently 90% on Steam. It's supposed to have really great playability on the Steam Deck, which I'm curious what that means. I don't know if that means full controller support, or I'm going to have to thumb my way to victory. But I
also on Game Pass, worth noting. And,
yeah.
And maybe actually this is a nice thing to do for people. I don't know if they'll appreciate it or not, but we talked about Core Keeper today. That's on Game Pass. Star Trekker also on Game Pass, and Age of Mythology on Game Pass.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of Game
Not
Pass.
a promotion for Game Pass, but if you are interested in some of the games we're talking to and you happen to have a Game Pass subscription, this is a way to save a little bit of money and try the games we're talking about.
That's right. Age of Mythology was one of my favorites back in the day, and I'm really happy to see it succeeding here, because it does look like they really up the quality of it. Looks amazing. Improved a lot of graphical stuff, obviously, to make it modern. But yeah, big fan of the old one, so I'm sure this is good. I'll probably end up getting it. It's like RTS on steroids a little bit. Like, it's just kind of more fun than your typical slow growth kind of thing that you would do in Age of Empires. It's very good. What else of note here? Let's see.
Well, now that everybody thinks I'm shilling for Microsoft because I mentioned Game Pass, let me shill a little bit for Sony and say Astro Bot came out today.
Oh, yeah.
And it looks like it is a contender for one of the best games on PlayStation 5.
And maybe one of the best games of the year.
Game.
Yeah, maybe one of the best games of the year by some accounts. Apparently they killed it with this, so I'm very excited for that. Astro, I'm going to see if I can get a little footage here. Astro Bot. We'll just do the trailer. Here we go. It looks like they really amped it up, like just took what was cool about that first thing. Oh, you can buy that controller, so that's kind of fun if you want. If you want to go spend another $70, there's a controller based on the game. But yeah, it looks neat.
It is a cool looking controller, to be fair.
Yeah, it looks great.
I think the thing about Astro Bot is it's such a nostalgic trip. Like, I don't particularly feel like, I think maybe Nintendo in my head, maybe Sega to a degree, are really the only consoles that I feel like I would get nostalgic for. But there's something about the way Astro Bot, the reverence that it presents all these Sony products, and it's easy to get a little, because you're talking about buying video game consoles and a lot of stuff that comes with it. But in its universe, it doesn't come across as shilly or gross. It comes across as just like, hey, remember this console that you really liked playing video games on? Like, it feels earnest, and I really like it.
Yep, I agree. Also coming up, this will be on the 5th. Is that today? No, tomorrow. You will be getting...
yesterday if it's the 5th.
Wait, what is today? It would have been yesterday.
Today's the 6th.
Oh,
so...
okay. The website is wrong because the Steam page says the 9th now. So something must have got delayed or confused. But anyway, this game is called What the Car. If you remember What the Golf, then you might be like, oh, I really liked What the Golf. That was a weird, surreal, psycho experience. good news. Triband, the developer, is made a new game called What the Car. And it's not what you think. It's not just racing. Although the probably first screen or two will be racing, and then your whole life will change. I actually look forward to this. I love that What the Golf game. It was fantastic. This could be like that. We shall find out.
Another one on here that looked interesting to me is Yars Rising.
Like Yars Revenge?
Yes. So this is based on Yars Revenge, but it has been reimagined as a platformer.
What?
Like a Metroidvania style exploration platformer.
Oh, look at that.
All of this seems weird to me. But when I look at the video of it, it looks kind of good.
I don't know what to make of this. Okay, so let's see. We're going to put up some video here.
Yars Rising.
So it is Shantae River City Girls developer Way Forward. Might have takes to revive Atari's cult classic 1982 game. Reimagine Yars Rising as a cyberpunk Metroidvania. Well, that sounds crazy.
It does.
But Way Forward is
great. It does
great.
sound crazy.
These guys know how to make awesome side-scrolling Metroidvanias, so...
They made the Advance Wars reboot.
Ooh, really? I like that too, a lot. Okay.
And I'm like looking at the screenshots and stuff. It looks all right.
Yeah.
I mean, wait for reviews, but this seems strangely compelling to me.
Also, out of left field. I didn't know this was a thing until you brought it up. Wild.
Yeah,
the other one on here that is interesting to me is this El Paso Elsewhere thing. So it looks like a Max Payne kind of game. Lots of bullet time, slow down stuff. This looks rad. This is coming out on PlayStation 5. I don't think it's coming to PC, though, but it looks really neat. There's no video, dang it. But from what I've seen, this looks rad. So if you like Max Payne, looks like this is coming right up your hole.
He's even doing a dive shoot like Max Payne in the picture I'm seeing.
Another major one would probably be... this is for... Who is it? Shanna fan in our Discord? You'll be excited. NBA 2K25 is coming out. Enjoy.
He's already playing it. It's already out.
Yeah.
It's already out.
He's already
He's
playing that game.
it.
Like a psycho.
Like they made the number bigger, so he's in. He's doing it.
Lots of indies. A couple of them look neat, like Wild Bastards. You see this one? This looks cool. Comes out on the 12th. I just like the name. I mean, who even knows?
It's a Wild West version of Void Bastards. If you like Void Bastards, here's...
Oh, it's those guys?
Yeah.
Oh, I love that game. What little I
there
played
you go.
of it. I
so
enjoyed it.
They're taking a game you like and they're putting a Wild West spin on it. So
I mean,
two flavors you like, Scott.
These are two flavors that I like.
Wild Bastards. It looks awesome.
Yeah, it does look good. I loved Void Bastards. That was great.
Yeah, I loved it too.
Yeah, this could be interesting. Oh, the character named
two
Preach.
big PC releases of PlayStation previously exclusive games this month in the form of Final Fantasy 16 and God of War Ragnarok.
Mm-hmm.
God of War Ragnarok on September 19th and Final Fantasy 16 on September 17th. So
back in the day, Beau said he would play that. Are you going to play 16, Beau? A lot has happened since then, you know. I don't know.
You're different.
I don't know.
Yeah.
16? Final Fantasy 16?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Don't know.
It's a way. I still haven't played Final Fantasy 7 2.
Oh,
I
yeah.
also haven't, despite owning it. So I'm part of the problem.
You are part of the problem.
That's mainly like going to be like the decision is just like, well, if I'm going to, I already spent on this, let me play this. Yeah. So,
Yeah.
You know.
That Plucky Squire thing looks good.
I was just about to say the Plucky Squire. This game, it stood out when I read the name, and it didn't immediately hit why it stood out. And it's because of the art style and the way the game's presented.
Yeah.
Like, it's kind of wild looking. So this is another one that I'm really, really interested in.
Yeah.
It's a platformer action adventure game, but it's done in like you're playing on literal storybook pages, but sometimes you break out into the real world, and sometimes it's 2D and sometimes it's 3D. It just looks really unique, really different.
Yep.
So
I feel like we've been seeing it for a
one,
long time, and it's finally going to be here. So
hopefully it's good.
Yeah, I mean, it looks crazy. Look at that. 17th is where you're waiting for that, so watch for it. Let's see what else we got on here. Oh, the Dead Rising Deluxe Remaster's coming out. See if Frank West can get his shit together and kill some zombies.
He can't. He's too busy in the mall.
Yeah.
I've actually heard they're doing some weird things with that game. I heard they were removing some of the time limit elements to it.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's true.
I hope so. That's the least favorite thing of that game. I hated that.
It is my least favorite thing about that game. That and the fact that like zombies die instantly, but regular people.
The RE engine, which is always impressive to me, that engine. So we'll see how that goes. When's that happen? 19th. That comes out. Ooh, Frostpunk 2. You guys want to punish yourselves with a city builder of sorts and feel like you,
You
are
want to
depressed?
feel sad, everybody?
Would you like to feel sad? Beau, this could be your next Banished. You never know. Frostpunk 2.
Yeah, I don't know. I still have Frostpunk 1, which I bought, but I haven't played yet.
Never played it?
Still haven't gotten to it yet. Along with the 90 other games that are on the to-do list.
John, anything else on here jumping out at you that you want to play?
I mean, so it's a little ways down the list, but Legend of Zelda Echoes of Wisdom, that's the one where you actually play as Zelda for the Switch.
Yeah.
Sure to be kind of a big title. Another one that's strangely compelling to me, mostly because of who's developing it, but these types of games usually don't appeal to me, but I'm intrigued, is called UFO 50, which it claims is a collection of 50 single and multiplayer games that span a variety of genres. I'm reading right off the Steam description. But this is by the Spelunky people.
Oh, I like
So it's one of
Spelunky.
those things where I'm like, yeah, I don't know. I don't typically go for that kind of thing. It kind of sounds like the shovelware you get when you buy a retro classic arcade game system from the mall, and it's got like Sonic the Hedgehog and then
I'll watch for that one. The only other one on here that I'm curious about is Ara History Untold. This is a 4X Ara. Kind of 4X.
not just Mayor Quimby thinking out loud.
Ara. It just looks like something I'd like. I like the look of it. Except for she looks like 3D Studio Max 1989. A little
Yeah,
bit.
it does look like she's one other character away from being a porn game.
Yeah, not super into that. But this, I don't know, whatever. You give me a top 10 historical, like city ass third person builder thing, and I'm just intrigued immediately. So we'll see what happens there. There's a huge list. The other one I wanted to mention is for Starfield fans, you will get your Shattered Space DLC at the very end of the month on the 30th. So watch for that.
That's the actual expansion, not just the car.
Correct. That is correct. I mean, it's also the car. It's both. You get them.
I think the car's already here, right?
Oh, is it already here?
I don't know. I haven't played Starfield.
I sent that. Did I tell you guys I sent a picture of it to that friend that has tryptophobia or trypophobia, or whatever it's called? They don't like the little holes, and she didn't like it. She hated it. She's not a fan. Minecraft movie had a trailer, and whatever. It's about what I expected out of a trailer. Although I am starting to wonder if Jack Black has a deal with Hollywood where they're just like, well, if we're doing any video game adaptations, he has to be in these. Because he was just
because they think he looks like this. He's the closest A-list celebrity that looks like what you would assume the gamer, like what someone who doesn't play games would assume someone who plays games looks like,
I guess so.
A big guy with a giant beard. Yeah.
But in the
So
case of
relatable.
like in Borderlands, he was Claptrap, and this he's Steve.
Yeah.
And as best I can tell, he's just flesh and blood Steve. Right?
Wasn't he in another? Was he in the Mario movie?
Oh yeah, he was
Bowser.
Bowser.
Yeah, he's Bowser.
Yeah.
He's Bowser in that.
Yeah. So I think we're closer to the truth on that than we would like to believe.
Yeah.
There's also a Sonic the Hedgehog 3 trailer, which I'm going to just say I thought actually looked pretty good.
I think it looked all right. I think the Sonic movies are good. I like them.
We talked about this last week, right?
I did not like the second one very much.
I thought it was all right.
because there's about half the movie is about a wedding.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I can't for the life of me figure out why that movie exists.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
There's two movies in Sonic the Hedgehog 2. One is good fun, and the other I'm just very confused why it's in there. It's like somebody said, we only have half a movie. That's all right. I got another half movie that's about a wedding, and we'll just stick it in there.
It doesn't. That's a really good point. It's not great.
It was really weird, but this one actually does look kind of good. And Keanu Reeves as Shadow the Hedgehog, I'm excited for.
Good casting.
Keanu Reeves' vocal performances might be some of my favorite work.
Yeah.
Whether that's Johnny Silverhand, although he's kind of he also looks like him.
Yeah.
But he's great in that League of Super Pets as Batman. It's one of my favorite Batman
excellent
voices that I've ever heard. He's really good in it. And he is Duke Kaboom in Toy Story 4, and he is, in my opinion, the best character in that movie. He's really great.
I still haven't seen. I've seen scenes where he's Duke Kaboom, but I've never seen Toy Story 4. I'm afraid to see it.
Just watch Toy Story 4.
I'm afraid. I'm scared.
Scott, I promise you it's good. What if I told you the same thing that Pixar told themselves when people at Pixar were like, why are we making this movie?
I mean...
So, did you ever hear what they said?
No,
there were people. So here's the story. This is a true story.
Okay.
At least according to the internet.
All right,
But where else are you going to get information?
Sure.
It's the best I can do. So here's the story that I heard. The story I heard is that when they announced they were going to do a Toy Story 4, there was a lot of consternation internally because, like, hey, Toy Story 3 was a phenomenal ending to that story. Why on earth would you possibly do more? And what they said internally, whether you want to buy into this or not, is Toy Story 3 is the ending of Andy's story.
Okay.
But Woody is the main character of Toy Story, and Toy Story 4 is the ending to Woody's story.
Okay. That makes more sense then. I guess I could see that. Oh, you know what? All right, fine. I'll watch.
Was Andy the boy? The kid?
Yeah.
Andy was the kid, yeah.
Was he in that movie a lot? I don't remember him too much.
Well, in 3 he was. Yeah. 3 was a big deal.
Okay.
He's not in 4.
3
It's
was
been a while.
3 tore my heart out and chewed on it and then shoved it back in my chest.
Yeah.
That's why I'm worried about 4.
It's fine. I don't blame people who don't want to see it because, again, if you don't want to see it, you don't want to see it. But what I will tell you is that it is a very good, heartfelt, touching movie.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just as good and is one of the most beautifully animated movies I've ever seen in my life. That alone is already something worth checking out. It looks incredible.
Which one's the one with the lava? I have a memory of lava.
Probably 3 because that's where they're going to get incinerated.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't think I've seen 4 myself either. I've seen 3.
I love 1, 2, and 3. I really like all of them. So there's no reason I shouldn't see 4. I just am nervous.
I also don't think they marketed 4 very well because they were like, hey, check out Forky. And while he's an important part of the story, he's like, that's not what the story is about.
Oh, Forky. I see.
Was Forky... Wait, wasn't there a Forky in 3? Or was a Forky-like thing in 3? Wasn't there?
No, there's no Forky in 3. Forky's only in 4.
Wasn't there some wackadoo thrown together doll? I might be thinking of Kate McKinnon's character in Barbie now that I think about it.
No, but yeah, that could be.
She was so good in that.
Toy Story 4 is very good. Honestly, I just saw it in chat from Nicholas. I might agree. Toy Story 4 might be the best Toy Story.
Damn,
movie.
dude.
It might be. 3 is also very good.
Damn.
I do not want to take away from 3. 3 made me cry. 4 made me cry.
Okay.
They both did. I like them both. They're very good for different reasons.
But didn't Cars 2 make you... Just kidding. I know it didn't.
No, Cars 2 did not. It made me cry with like, what
a different
are we doing?
Yeah, a different cry.
Cars 2 is wild. I've had to see that movie so many times now that I refused. I was like, I hate Cars.
Yeah.
I don't want to see Cars 2. Cars 3 looked intriguing because their trailer was just Lightning McQueen friggin' being torn apart down the pavement. And I was like, ooh. But I never went and saw it. Now they might be the Pixar movies I've seen the most, thanks to my son.
Oh yeah, kids love it.
You know what? I can actually appreciate
kids.
Cars
Kids love it.
movies.
I like 1 and 2 a lot. 1 and 3 a lot. 2 is not, in my opinion, not great, but it's still not. It's still better.
I'm watching
than
the trailer with closed captioning. Toy Story 4 looks pretty like fire.
It's good.
Like I haven't seen it yet.
I'm gonna watch it
the
this
animation's
weekend.
awesome.
I'm gonna watch it this weekend. I'm doing it.
There you go.
I'm gonna report next Thursday as to my experience.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm doing it.
You'll like Duke Kaboom.
I barely know Forky, and I already like Forky.
His Duke Kaboom's slogan is "Yes, we Canada," so it's
wow,
it's already good.
That's amazing. All right. How about this news, Beau? This news is for Beau. No Man's Sky has introduced fishing. How you feel?
Yep. Well, uninstall.
it's done.
Next. No longer a good game. No longer.
Total trash now, that thing.
No, I took a look at it. It's not a system I look forward to engaging with, but I could always be wrong.
You're just
Well,
not a
I think you
fan.
can also just ignore it.
Yeah, you don't have to do it.
Yeah, like a lot of things. Yeah,
Yeah, like a lot of things. Ballatro coming to mobile, tablets, and Apple Arcade. Goodbye, free time. I'll miss you. That game's amazing, and for people who haven't already discovered it or play it in other platforms, this coming to mobile is a big deal. It's going to be like...
I might get this.
Oh, I'm 100%
Depends on how
getting
they monetize it. If it's
I think you just buy
in-game
it.
stuff, I don't think I want it. But if I can just buy it and play it as like a, I can play it on phones now, I'll do that.
I'll bet it's like 19 on PC and stuff. I'll bet this is $9, $9.99, and you just pay for it. And I'll bet you can download it and play it for a bit and decide if you want to pay. That's a thing you see now with the premium games. But if
that's the case, I will 100%. This will probably go on my phone.
Yeah, same. I'm getting it. BG3 has a new patch. Adds a bunch of evil endings and an official mod toolkit. Beau, make us a scenario so we can all play D&D in the world of Baldur's Gate 3. Is that what this mod toolkit does, or does it do something else?
Oh, no. It's not content. It's like it's not that kind of content. You can make items, classes, subclasses.
Okay.
Graphical stuff. They don't actually let you make any questing content.
That's a bummer because their last game did.
I suspect it might run afoul of their agreement with D&D.
Ooh, I didn't think of that.
Because they're running a VTT, but why don't we just play our game and bother? I don't know. I suspect that's the hitch there. Because yes, they actually Divinity Original Sin 2 at one point had like a game master, run your D&D games using our maps, but unfortunately they just had like 6 maps or something. Like I checked it out, it's not that robust. So maybe this go around they could add something robust, which they have, except just no questing content. So
wow, all right,
yeah, no, but I might add the chicken speaker in there if the assets are there. I was kind of thinking about tooling around with it. That's my homebrew sorcerer subclass.
Nice.
Where you can speak cockamimi and you get a what do they call their chicken holes? Freaking
chicken
cloaca.
Oh, cloaca.
Yeah. you grow a cloaca, and then you have hemi sleep, where like you can just close one eye and get a full night's rest, but also keep watch because that's how chickens sleep.
Yeah.
I got a whole subclass, and like the big combo spells is like you cast chicken spray, and then you just spray out a bunch of chickens from your hands.
Yeah. And
then you cast explode chickens and explode all the chickens you sprayed on the previous turn, and that's kind of your bread and butter damage. Anyways. So.
Wow. That sounds fantastic.
So I'm like, if all those assets are in there, I bet you I could build the chicken speaker subclass.
Nice.
We'll see. No
all
promises.
Right. If you do, we'll be the first to hear it. I forgot, by the way, that Visions of Mana also came out this month, and
oh yeah, it did.
It's reviewing well. PC Gamer calls it comfort food RPG, stays fresh from start to finish.
Oh, yeah.
I kind of want to play it. I like the last one, the remake.
Yeah, I think if I can get over Fancy Cat, I'll be
honestly.
Oh, right. I forgot about the cat.
My finger's been hovering over the buy button on this because I kind of just want a controller game because I've been playing some controller games, and this seems
this would fit great.
Kind of like a controller game, and maybe it's fun. I just $80, or it's like $90 Canadian right now. No, $80 still.
Jeez,
big price tag, and like Space Marine was coming out, but maybe friendship ended with Space Marine. Now friends with Visions of Mana could be happening.
Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. I just noticed something. Okay. Never mind. PC Gamer's messing with me. Let's see. What else we got going on here? Cyberpunk board game coming. That'd be fun. I guess. I don't know. What are you doing there? Can I get naked? Can I choose my wiener size? Because then I'm in. Now we're talking.
What?
Cyberpunk 2077 board game crowdfunding hit its goal in 10 minutes. It's now well past $1 million.
Yeah.
You can be
like
Jackie. You can be Judy. You can be Pan Am. You can be V.
There's some Johnny Silverhand also mentioned.
Nothing about a wiener slider though.
Yeah. Can we? I guess we got a request from Smulders in chat. He wants us to say hi to his nephew.
Oh, hello. What's his nephew's name? Do we know?
His nephew's name is Steffson.
Steffson?
His name D's. His name is D. Wait, is this a D's nuts?
He's not doing a D's nuts, is he?
Are we setting it up?
It's your stepson, and his name is D's.
Is his name really D's?
I'm just not sure if I've got that wrong.
Well, anyway, whoever your stepson is.
If this is genuine, you're going to make them very sad because now you've turned it into a joke.
So it is D's. Oh, it's a Dutch name. It's a Dutch name.
Oh, it's a Dutch name. Okay, so maybe we're saying it wrong. It's probably Diz.
Diz? Diz nuts?
Yeah. Or
like
that.
that?
Like, yeah, if it's Dutch, it's, Let's not do that, all right?
I know. We want to make this
I know
legit.
I'm the one that started it, but it was just...
No, we want to... This kid sounds awesome, and I'm a huge fan of people's kids.
I mean, he says nephew. He could be an adult. We didn't really get
They said a stepson.
It's stepson.
Yeah, but he could be 60 and the stepson like 40 or 30 or so. It's like... I don't know that it's a kid, but I'm assuming if it makes his day...
It's probably
he's got to be a younger.
He's 24.
But then Smulders wrote, "Love the shitty ejaculating border patrol, Stan. You're the best." So I'm like, "Well, do you talk about that stuff with your child, with your child nephew?" Oh, no, he's 24. Okay,
24.
He's old enough to.
All
he's old enough to
appropriate.
talk. He's old enough to ejaculate. All right.
Okay.
What? Wait. What? I thought we weren't making this worse. That made it worse for sure.
What? No, I'm just saying, like, I don't really feel like bad because sometimes when I'm reminded that we have very young listeners, I go, "Why do they let me on the show? Why do I not behave myself when it comes to adult things?"
Smolder says, "Let's stop here" with a smiley face. That's amazing.
Hey, you asked for it, right? I do. I'm a professional.
No, I wouldn't say they asked for that. That's a little bit of an exaggeration of their claim.
Hey, he wrote that.
No, I know, but that's amazing. We've gone really far. We've gone to a place.
Okay. All right, we might be too far, and I don't see it, but okay.
But I will say
message.
this as a step parent, you will do you will do a lot to try and get kudos from step kids. Hard, I understand. So happy to do it. So shout out.
I assume he's a listener too. That's why I would make his day, right? So how's it going, Dees?
Yeah, well
so
done.
they listen to it in the
listening.
car every Monday.
There you go.
That's cool.
I mean,
that's awesome.
because I assume if they've been listening for the past 2 years, they heard our past episodes and still around. So we're okay.
They've hung around.
Yeah,
they're okay.
Haven't chased them off yet.
We're glad to have him here. All right, moving. I have a son who's 24, so I get it. And as far as he has a baby now, so I know he. Anyway.
Exactly.
Moving on.
Cool.
It's I don't know about cool, but it exists. It's a thing.
Well, you did it 3 times, and that's pretty cool. You got 3 lovely ones.
I used to tell people. I tell people we've only done it 3 times. That's how you know it. 1 kid per time.
1 shot, 1 kill.
Yeah. No double taps. Just bam. Yeah. Bam, bam, bam. All right.
360
moving on. Let's go to this phone call I got here. We got a phone call. Whoops. There.
That's a good question.
I'm going to play it first. This is a phone call about getting Hot Wheels cars because you were good. Okay.
Oh, okay.
This came to us at 801-471-0462. Please keep sending your calls there, or your texts are fine as well. And you can send emails to talktothecore@gmail.com. Here's that call about Hot Wheels cars.
Hey, this is for Core. This is Zinger in Wisconsin. John talking about buying his son a Hot Wheels if he's good at the store. Like, 100% my parents did that for me. Unlocked a huge memory. That was the biggest thing when I was a kid, was being good at the store so I could get a Hot Wheels on the way out. I wanted to share that, John, you're not the only parent that does that. Have a good day, guys.
See, look at you carrying on the grand tradition, dude.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I hope he remembers.
Yeah. He will.
I hope.
He will. Sometimes they say...
I think my parents did that to me.
Well, Hot Wheels if you were good?
Yeah, because they've always been cheap, right? I had a lot of Hot Wheels. Maybe that was
They've always been cheap.
I mean, that is the reason why it's a Hot Wheel. It feels cool and it costs a little over $1.
Yeah. Yeah. There's nothing wrong with
Yeah,
that.
because I'd always want, oh, give me Optimus Prime, and it's like $50. It's like, maybe this Hot Wheel. And it's like, okay.
That's the thing with kids is the kids want stuff that they're never going to remember, and if it's expensive, like, what's the point? Like, if it's meaningful that you got a Hot Wheels car, I think that's great. There's nothing wrong with that. Go cheap and also.
How many have you
meaningful.
stepped on so far?
Oh, I step on them all the time.
Okay,
Yeah.
we lost count. We lost count.
Yeah, there's a lot. There's a ton.
We used to do
There are way too many.
whatever happened to what are the ones they made video games about, the small cars? I can't think of it all of a sudden.
Rock and roll racing.
No, they're actual
Shiny tires.
No, the actual ones you could buy.
Micro Machines.
Micro Machines. I used to love those.
Micro Machines are great.
Yeah.
I'm sad that they've kind of gone away.
Yeah. Can you still get them?
my-
They're not a thing?
Well, you can kind of get, like, they have a much smaller, like, product line. They used to be really prevalent. Like, they used to be, like, a ton. They took up a ton of toy aisle real estate.
Yeah.
My son just bought, because he has two obsessions right now. He really likes cars, and he really likes making houses, which is like any cardboard box that can be folded or anything that has like a pointed roof on it. And the other day we were at the toy store and he saw the house from Fast and the Furious, Dom's house.
Mm-hmm.
And that was Micro Machines brand. And he thought that was the greatest toy he had ever seen in his life.
He's right.
Because it was like a house and cars.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was really cool. But to me, my favorite thing that Micro Machines ever did was they did the replica Star Wars and Star Trek.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that. They
Do
were
you remember
awesome.
that line?
They
Those were so cool.
rad,
That was
yeah.
the greatest freaking thing. I looked it up because I was like, can you still get that? You can, but you're going to spend money if you get those. They are really expensive now to buy a pack of those. But they were the best.
Oh,
man.
look at these. Yeah. They had
You could
all
get
those
all the
ships.
freaking versions of the Enterprise, talking about Beau's favorite topic, ranking the best Enterprise. You could get every single one of them, and you could rank them yourself, because there they all were.
Look, they got
They were
Klingon,
so good.
Klingon birds of prey, freaking Romulan birds of prey, or whatever they called theirs. All the Enterprise stuff, all the other shit. That's the, what's that one there in the middle? That's the one Worf flew around on Deep Space Nine. What was that called?
Yeah.
I think I might have had a couple of those, maybe.
I know I did. I
Possibly.
don't know what I did with them though.
Oh, they were so good.
Yeah. Dang it. Yeah, it looks like they're just smaller footprint than they used to have, but you can still buy them. There's like
I did
10 cars for like $30 on Amazon or something. So you could do it.
a little investigating on Steam, and I found a shocking game. It might have sold less than Concord, actually. There's a Micro Machines Mini Challenge Mayhem released this year in January.
Really?
With 2 user reviews, as it's a VR. It's a VR only offering for some reason. Yeah, I know. Like, there's no Micro Machines, and all of a sudden, there's this VR game where you can set up like the toy tracks and play Micro Machines in VR.
What in the heck?
And I was like, I never heard of this. It's 2 thumbs up. People liked it.
Really?
One guy called it a Mega Ultra Big Chad Peep Peep Challenge. But it's, I'm like,
Oh yeah, look at
kinda
you making tracks using the wands and this looks like fun.
I was like, why? Like, there's so many games that just like get launched and you never hear about. I'm like, this looks actually kind of cool.
It does
I'm like,
seem
what
cool.
the hell? Like,
It does
Yeah.
seem cool. Oh, you can do AR as well. They got a little AR business going on here. Portals?
Sick.
Guy flew into the wall and flew out the other wall. Shut up. That's cool.
yeah, it looks awesome.
The I don't remember the name of it. There was that indie game that I wish listed that looked like absolute spiritual successor to those Micro Machines games, kind of top down, race around
Oh,
the kitchen.
yeah. I remember that.
I don't know what the status is of that, but I want that real bad when it comes out. I'm a sucker for that. That makes me feel 5 again. Nothing does that. Like, I need ways to feel 5 again, is what I'm saying. Well, that's great. Thank you for the phone call. It is time for us to recognize some patrons for joining us this week. Some brand new folks like Who John, One Can
Me.
Van Dam. Oh, is that John?
Oh,
One Can Van Dam. Amazing name. Love
It's a
that.
great name.
Ryan Witzke, John J.C. Clark, JL, or LJ rather, Jeremy Townsend, and
The name had 2 letters.
I totally backwards that. I don't know why. The J jumped out at me. I don't know why. I don't know.
Great.
It's not like I have, dyslexia or anything. That just didn't
No,
work.
no. It's just a little. I'm not one to talk. It's fine.
I don't know what happened there.
It's just still funny. It's just, yeah.
But who else? Oh, Simon Fletcher. All these guys joined up